Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com. This is TWiT Live Special number 286, recorded Wednesday, May 18th, 2016. Google I/O Keynote 2016. TWiT Live Specials are brought to you by Braintree. Mobile app development can be complex, but integrating your payments no longer has to be. With Braintree, your business can accept nearly every type of payment from any device with just one integration. Learn more at braintreepayments.com/twit. Google I/O 2016. I'm Leo Laporte. Joining me right now, Andy Ihnatko from the Chicago Sun-Times. Yes, you may say, oh, wait a minute, isn't he the Mac guy? Well, I think he's perfectly qualified to talk about Google stuff as well. An Android user, I might add.
I have been writing about technology enough that I can pretend to know more than I actually know about any subject, not just about Apple.
And also joining us, Russell Holly from Android Central. It's great to have you, Russell. Thanks for being here. Yep. And soon, from All About Android, Ron Richards will be dialing in. He's stuck in a meeting right now. In about 5 minutes, I should mute my. Let's all mute our phones right now. That's what they're telling them to do in the hall there. It's not a hall, actually. It's Shoreline Amphitheater.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a very different place for this kind of event. And in 3 minutes and 45 seconds, they will begin. Go ahead, Andy.
I'm interested to see if they take advantage of the fact that they are having the event like right in their own backyard. One thing that kind of occurred to me last week was, I don't necessarily think this is going to be a factor, but all of their self-driving cars, they're absolutely free to go inside around Mountain View, because that's where they're testing them. If they're having this happen in San Francisco, they could not have a self-driving car go all the way from the highway into Yerba Buena. But who knows? Maybe they will actually have self-driving cars deliver somebody from a local airport or something.
Very good point. They've been setting up tents for the last week in the parking lot at Shoreline, and I understand a lot of the developer sessions will be occurring in tents there. We have some people in the keynote. Jeff Jarvis is there right now. So is Jason Howell from TNT. Jeff from This Week in Google. Father Robert Balacer is there, and I think he's also in our chat room. And they will be coming back and joining us for a special edition of This Week in Google after the keynote. Russell, what do we expect? What should our bingo card hold for today's keynote?
Well, a couple of them are obvious. We're going to hear a bunch of stuff about the next version of Android that Google's kind of already been pushing out as a developer preview for a little while, that has got N as its code name, but we don't know anything else about the name as far as what particular dessert it is.
Do you want to go on record with your prediction?
I really hope that it's... I'm going to go ahead and predict that it is not Nutella.
Really?
Yeah,
because that's the odds-on favorite
right
now.
That's too obvious.
Yeah,
because Google, there have been
Hiroshi Lockheimer said, "I'm not telling you." When he announced N, I'm telling you.
I'm hoping that it wasn't just that obvious. But there's a lot of things. Yeah, nougat. If they go with the
Nutty Buddy.
Yeah, Nutter Butter, or Nerds. Just go straight up with Nerds.
Wouldn't
candy.
Nerds be awesome?
That would be fun. I think they could have a lot of fun with N. The more you think about it, the more there could really be a lot of fun there.
Some rumor, I think this is true, that they're going to put the Android Play Store on Chrome OS, on their Chromebooks.
I feel like he kind of has to go there. Yeah. The way that they've been kind of slowly moving the two platforms together. And last year we saw the ability for developers to try out Chrome apps, on Chromebooks. Using a pretty simple developer tool. I feel like that's been a year-long kind of slow push. So it would be really weird to not hear that announcement today, I think.
Andy, what would that change for Chrome OS if suddenly you have 1 million new apps, Android apps available?
It would definitely put a lot more demands on what a Chromebook is expected to do, the hardware. And remember that one of the big successes of it is that you can build a $200 notebook that actually kicks butt and is good for schools. I would love to see a difference between, we have an Android-based notebook, for instance, and we have a Chrome-based notebook, where we're not going to expect everything, and the Chromebook is completely locked down, whereas the Android notebook is maybe $50 to $100 more, but can do far, far, far more.
Yeah.
I'm really fascinated by Android N on a notebook. Even Android M, the first time I had my phone plugged into HDMI and a keyboard and a mouse, that's when nothing had changed. It had added no new user interface, but it made me realize how flexible this is and how well it's suited to using a mouse and a keyboard. Can't wait to see the windowing, though.
We should see some VR as well. It's expected that there'll maybe even be a standalone Android and VR device. We're now at 5 seconds, but that's all they're showing. Remember a couple of years ago they had a kind of a crazy Rube Goldberg machine? Let's pick up the audio and see, because something's going on the screen.
Oh,
here.
it was massive. It surrounded the entire the entire room, and it went throughout the convention center. It was brilliant.
So cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Here we go. There's Shoreline, which is normally at a venue for concerts.
Yeah.
Neil Young holds his bridge benefit there every year. Looks like a harp player playing a giant.
Massive. Yeah, what a massive harp.
Okay, this is a little Yanni. It's a little Yanni.
I'm sorry, that's a little overdoing it.
Yeah, maybe I could do without the shoulder roll, but he's a very attractive fellow.
He's feeling it. He's got the music in. Okay, I'm being cynical already. I shouldn't be.
I know. We shouldn't snark right before it starts, but it does look like this duo comes from Berlin. Let's just put it that way.
I wonder if those are motion sensors on the strings.
That's cool.
It can't be a resonance, but it must be a demonstration of something.
Yeah. Pretty big audience there. This is a large theater. There's seating up front, but then there's a large lawn space in the back, and I can't tell from the shot if they've got people on the lawn as well as in seats. No, it looks like most of the lawn. Some on the lawn? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the lawn. You see the green up on the
shade.
left. Yeah, in the shade. No kidding.
Nobody wants to be in the sun.
We're having a bit of a heat wave in the Bay Area right now.
That can't be fun. you got to wonder about the actual the basic idea of the stamina of your audience. That if they're hot and they're sweaty and they've got sun beating down on them, they're going to check out really early and they're actually going to start to leave.
They're going to get sleepy.
Yeah, well,
it's not typical to have these kind of events outdoors. I mean, I can't think of another outdoor keynote.
Last year they had a digital cyclorama and they were playing Pong, keeping everybody entertained.
Right, remember that? Yeah, that was fun. Okay, somebody's coming out on the stage. I also think we'll see some home automation stuff. There's been, of course, a rumor of a Google Home device, codenamed Chirp, that would duplicate the functionality of Amazon's Echo. That, according to the rumors, won't be available until later this year. We'll be interested to see what they do with that.
I think we've added another instrument.
Oh,
there are instruments in that box that the guy is.
The guy on the stage
right now.
Yeah. This is pretty cool. I wonder how you learn to play that.
I bet that if you're going to play an amphitheater, you're gonna want to rent while you're taking lessons, and you don't want to buy go all in on a good one first.
Get the small amphitheater. 5, 4, 3. Now we know what the latency is. 2 and 1. There's a turntable, ladies and gentlemen. That's not something you don't see every day, and a vinyl record.
A white IO vinyl.
Google is my new bicycle.
Wheels for the mind.
Ah, there you go. So there's a young woman, for those listening, on a bicycle. There's some people reading the newspaper in synchrony.
Business, tech, science are all on the newspapers.
Very good. And now, what is that, a skier, a runner?
Yeah, someone's playing a game. It's one of the skiing games.
But it's kind of a VR thing, or no?
I think it's just a play on those kind of side-scrolling ski safari type games.
I have to say I prefer this to saying, beginning it with, let's take a look at our new commercial. Although, basically,
there you go. Facial recognition pickup. This is all video, not demonstration.
Right.
Looks like they're using OLED colors. That's super primary colors.
At this point, we'll give you a requisite reminder. YouTube is streaming this live on a YouTube channel, and you could watch that and won't hear us.
Including in 360 degree there.
Oh, really? There's a VR
360
version,
cameras,
cardboard version. Nice. So you could watch that. Or you could hear our sterling commentary explaining what's going on. Your choice.
Yeah, I'm worried that whoever has cardboard in that audience is soon going to take it apart to use it as a sunshade.
Yeah, I think all of the swag bags came with sunscreen, glasses, and a bottle for water.
I only see a few hats, though, in the audience.
Yeah.
Most of the audience is in the shade, so that's the good news.
For now.
Netflix.
This is 2 hours.
Just saw a Netflix logo in there. I think I saw an Airbnb before that as well. These are apps, obviously. There's Instagram, Google Photos, Twitter.
Oh, okay. So there's actually a drummer on stage.
Yeah,
One of those
yeah, the guy, the blonde
demonstration
guy.
kiosks.
Yeah. And of course, this is a developer conference, so
Yeah.
this is often
Also-
the case. But it is Google's only big event of the year.
Yeah, and also realize that we could see a lot of things that they don't tend to ship for a couple of years.
Here comes
Or
Sundar
will never
Pichai, the CEO of Google. This is Google, not Alphabet. I think that's important to understand. No Larry Page, probably.
Welcome to Google I/O, and welcome to Shoreline. It feels really nice and different up here. We've been doing it for many, many years in Moscone, and in fact, we've been doing I/O for 10 years, but I feel we are at a pivotal moment in terms of where we are going as a company, and felt appropriate to change the venue. Doing it here also allows us to include a lot more of you. There are over 7,000 of you joining in person today.
Sundar's wearing a Moto 360. The second
Interesting.
And later today, after the keynote, you'll be joined by several Googlers, product managers.
Wonder how much we'll
engineers,
see
and
of Android
designers.
Wear on the
So
stage
hopefully
today.
you'll
It feels like
engage
that's
in
been
many,
kind
many
of
conversations over
abandoned.
3 days.
Stagnant.
Yeah.
As always, I/O is being live streamed around the world. This year, we have the largest ever audience. We are live streaming this to 530 extended events in over 100 countries around the world, including Dublin, which is a major tech hub in Europe. Istanbul, which is our
Don't talk
oldest
about
Google
Ireland.
developer group.
They're going to ask about the money.
Yeah.
And even to Colombo, Sri Lanka, which is the largest attendance outside of the US with 2,000 people.
Great. We had a bunch of developers from
Our
Spain
largest
here on
developer
Sunday who
audience
come
on the
out
live
every year
stream
for I/O.
is
cool.
from China today with over 1 million people tuning in live from China. So welcome to those users as well.
China, 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 always China.
We live in very, very exciting times. Computing has had an amazing evolution. Stepping back, Larry and Sergey founded Google 17 years ago with the goal of helping users find the information they need. At the time, there were only 300 million people online. Most of them were on big physical computers on slow internet connections. Fast forward to today, thanks to the rate at which processors and sensors have evolved, it is truly the moment of mobile. There are over 3 billion people connected, and they are using the internet in ways we have never seen before. They live on their phones. They use it to communicate, learn new things, gain knowledge, entertain themselves. They tap an icon, expect a car to show up. They talk to their phones and even expect music to play in the living room, or sometimes groceries to show up at the front door. So we are pushing ourselves really hard so that Google is evolving and staying a step ahead of our users. All the queries you see behind me are live queries coming in from mobile. In fact, today, over 50% of our queries come from mobile phones. And the queries in color you see behind me are voice queries. In the US,
How to lose weight.
on our mobile app in Android, 1 in 5 queries,
Donald
20% of our
Trump.
queries are voice queries.
How do I
and the chat is growing.
change?
Given how differently users are
I saw the
engaging
Nexus
with us,
6P like 4 times.
we want to push ourselves and deliver
Little subtle
them
there.
information, rich information in the context of mobile.
You don't expect new Nexus devices
This is why
today,
if you
do
come
you?
to Google
No,
today
not at all.
and search for Beyonce, you don't just get 10 blue links.
Maybe a new
You get a
Chrome with
rich information
Oh,
card
other-
with music. You can listen to her songs, find information about upcoming show events, and book it right there. You can come and ask us different queries, presidential elections, or
This is, of course,
Champions
somewhat
League.
controversial
And we again
because
give you
the
rich,
plain blue
in-depth
links are
information.
neutral.
And we do
But
this
Google
across
does some
thousands and
editorial
thousands of
on
categories
these knowledge cards.
globally at scale.
And in
I
fact,
wonder if they added
Come to
something
Google
given
looking for
the
news as
flap
well.
that Facebook
For
is
example, if you're interested
facing
in
for its
Hyperloop, an
conservative.
exciting technology,
yeah,
we
A
give
newsfeed
you
stuff.
you know,
information
they wield
and
much the same power.
right there in search results, and they load
And there they are
instantly. You can
promoting
scroll through. Amazing to see how
AMP.
people engage
AMP
differently with
because
Google.
that's the AMP carousel.
It's
Those are
not
AMP's
just enough to
pages.
give them links. We really need to help them get things done in the real world. This is why we are evolving search to be much more assistive. We've been laying the foundation for this for many, many years through investments in deep areas of computer science. We built the knowledge graph. We today have an understanding of 1 billion entities, people, places, and things, and the relationships between them in the real world. We have dramatically improved the quality of our voice recognition. We recently started training our data sets with noisy backgrounds deliberately so that we can hear people more accurately.
Ron Richards is out of his meeting and is joining us just in time. You've missed nothing, Ron.
That's what I figured.
Unless you're a fan of giant harp playing.
Yeah, I saw the live blog. I figured I had some time. Sorry about that.
No problem. Great to have you.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
We actually pull all the pictures of people hugging in your personal collection.
Search for hugs. Wait a minute. Let me try that.
Actually, I don't know why he keeps talking about eliminating background noise when he's doing voice recognition.
So you can show me my dog videos,
it's not a problem.
and we actually go through your videos and pull out your favorite videos.
Hey, hugs works. I have a bunch of hugs
Translation.
in my feed.
10 years ago,
that's pretty awesome.
We could translate, machine translate in 2 languages. Today we do that
that's
for
actually
over
kind of
100
amazing.
languages, and every single day we translate over 140 billion words for our users.
Words per day.
We even do real-time visual translation. If you're a Chinese user and you run into
all
a
of this
menu
would
in
really
English,
seem like science
all you
fiction
need to do
20
is
years
hold up
ago.
your phone and we can translate it into English for you.
Because basically, this is artificial
Progress
intelligence
in
we're seeing.
all of these areas is accelerating thanks to profound advances in machine learning and AI. And I believe we are at a seminal moment.
Machine learning. That's their secret sauce for me.
We as Google have evolved significantly over the past 10 years.
They're making that into their
and we
brand.
believe
Really.
we are poised to take a big leap forward
Search and
in the
machine
next
learning.
10 years. So leveraging our state-of-the-art capabilities in machine learning and AI, we truly want to take the next step in being more assistive for our users. So today, we are announcing the Google Assistant.
Google Assistant, the first.
Okay.
This is something completely new to me.
So what do we mean
rumors on
when we
this.
say the Google Assistant? We want to be there for our users, asking them, hi, how can I help? We think of the assistant in a very specific way. We think of it as a conversational assistant. We want users to have an ongoing two-way dialogue with Google. We want you to help get things done in your real world.
Nice. That's Cortana and Siri combined.
For you, understanding your context, giving you control of it.
A little echo as well,
too. This is building each user their own
I haven't gotten
individual
that far,
Google.
but it wouldn't shock me.
Well, and this is really what
have
Google
elements of the
now.
assistant working hard for our
I was
users.
about to say that.
I mentioned earlier.
If they match that up with a
20%
device
of
that's
queries
always on
from
and always
mobile app
listening.
and Android in the US are
Nothing
voice
more
queries.
scary for Google to do for
Every
its
single
users,
day,
but
people
nothing
say,
more powerful
"Okay,
either.
Google," and ask us questions.
Throw it on that
we
one
help
hub.
them with. And we have started becoming truly conversational because of our strengths in natural language processing. For example, you can be in front of this structure in Chicago and ask Google, who designed this? You don't need to say the bean or the cloud gate.
It knows
We
where you are.
understand your context, and we answer that the designer is Anish Kapoor. Here's another example. You can ask Google, who directed The Revenant?
The Revenant was directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu.
And you can follow that up with a question,
Is that a new
show
voice?
me his awards. Notice that
no,
I
I
didn't
don't
say
think
the
so.
name,
All right.
which I'm glad because I find that name very, very hard to pronounce. And Google could pick that conversation up and return the right answer.
Good.
This
The
has
conversation
historically
thing
been
is
really hard to do for computers. The reason we are able to do is because we have invested the last decade in building the world's best natural language processing technology. Our ability to do conversational understanding is far ahead of what other assistants can do.
This is Ask
Especially
Jeeves
if you
20
look
years
at
later.
follow-on queries. Our studies
But
show
Google
that
has also been
we are
showing this for
order
at
of
least 3 or 4
magnitude
years. I remember
ahead
the
of everyone
demo
else.
from the young woman who was
So today
showing, okay,
people are
Google,
using Google and asking
using,
us
how-
questions in many, many different
how
ways.
tall is
So we put together a short video so that you can take a look.
probably Larry
Yeah, this
Bird.
is just the continuation
Right.
of that.
And now a video demonstration.
Okay, Google, show me the trailer for Angry Birds.
Oh, God.
Of course, this ties in and explains maybe the release of Gboard, Google's keyboard for iOS, just a couple of days before this event. It has that logo, that built-in logo right there, although ironically, it doesn't have speech.
Pablo, Diego, Jose, Francisco, De Paula, Juan, Nepomuceno, Maria de... You're on the fastest route.
Play Laughing Owl.
Okay, Google, get out of myself.
It's great for searching for viral videos. I hope it does better than a YouTube search
Show me
does.
my graduation photos.
Post this on my blog.
This has always been the weakness of Google Now. You really have to talk to it like it's a very, very slow-witted person.
Right. It is. It's not even a person. I mean,
yeah. Very, very powerful search, but you have to say, I would like you to set an appointment this day, this time, with this person. Confirm yes.
To help them get things done. But we believe we are just getting started. We believe this is a long journey. And given it's a journey, we want to talk to you a little bit about the future. We want to show you the kind of things we aspire to be able to do. Let me do that with an example. Here's a common situation. It's Friday night. I'm sure many of you can relate to it. I'm back home, and I want to take my family to a movie. Right? You know, you normally pull out your phone, research
You're in your
movies,
pajamas,
look
sad
at the
and
reviews,
lonely.
find shows nearby, and try to book a ticket. You know, we want to be there in these moments helping you.
Why did you wait till Saturday
night? You should be able
night?
to ask Google, what's playing tonight?
Get me Hamilton tickets.
By the way, today, if you ask that question, we do return movie results, but we want to go a step further.
How much are you willing to pay?
We want to understand your context and maybe suggest 3 relevant movies which you would like nearby.
Interesting. Wouldn't that be interesting?
I
If
should
we knew
be
your
able
movie
to look
tastes.
at it and maybe tell Google, we want to bring the kids this time.
Wow.
And then if that's the case, Google should refine the answer and suggest family-friendly
And
options.
you do have to think this is an echo. This is designed to be an echo.
Would you
killer,
like
right?
4 tickets to any of these?
Wow.
And if I say, sure, let's do Jungle Book, it should go ahead and get the tickets.
This is her.
And have them ready, waiting for me.
And nobody's really better prepared to do this, even Microsoft than Google. They have all the information. Apple refuses, for good reason, to collect that kind of information.
In a conversation with Google.
Echo doesn't know it.
Do the purchase and respond with the QR code for printing. That's fascinating.
By the way, this is just one
Also,
version
realize
of
they spent a whole lot of time making the voice more human and putting different inflections into even simple responses. So that's definitely laying the groundwork for this as well.
They have a really interesting video. It's one of the Nat and Low videos for how they did that, actually. It's really impressive.
And maybe even shown me a trailer. And by the way, I saw the movie. It's terrific, and hope you get to see it as well.
I liked it too. 98%.
Every single conversation
95%.
is different. Every single context is different. And we are working hard to do this for billions of conversations.
JC Calhoun says, I just wish they could say, okay, Google, never show me anything related to Angry Birds.
We think of the assistant as an ambient experience that extends across devices. I think computing is poised to evolve beyond just phones. It'll be in the context
The fact that they have Pichai, the CEO, doing this
phones,
product announcement signifies how important it is
in their cars,
globally to Google.
And even in their living
This is
rooms.
evolution of search.
For example, if you're in one of the 100 different Android Auto models, and you're driving,
interesting, isn't it?
And you say, let's
because you are home.
Tonight.
It's like you are the
We
person,
know the
so
Warriors are on
it's attached to
tonight,
you.
And Steph Curry is playing, but you know all you're looking for is food, and we should be smart.
Yeah, I mean,
order that food and let you
my
know
Amazon Echo
when
is
it is
10
ready.
feet away, and it seems a bit
maybe
nervous
even
right
have
now.
it waiting for you at your home.
Shifting from foot to
Talking
foot.
about your
Pulsing
home,
nervously.
You still
blue
love
light.
it, right?
Don't throw away what we've had over the past year and a half.
Today,
I'm mad I have
we
4 of
sold
them.
over 25
I
million
can tell you about your
broadcast
no.
packages.
Massive
So we've
investment.
been thinking hard about how
Now
to
there's
bring
a
this
home.
vision of Google Assistant into your home. Credit to the team at Amazon for creating a lot of excitement in this space.
Wow.
Good,
We've been
good,
thinking about
good
our
for
own
them.
unique
Way to just
approach,
straight up call them
and
out.
we are getting ready to launch
But
something
also
later this
we
year.
acknowledge that
To
we
give
were
you a preview,
partially inspired
I'm
for
going to
this
invite Mario
by a
from the
competitor.
Chromecast team.
All right.
They have not been able to do anything in the home, you know,
At all.
it's been oppressive. Yeah, so curious.
The hub on hub was such a
Thanks, Sundar.
disappointment.
Today we want to give you an early preview of how we're bringing the Google Assistant to the home. Our
Mario is a
aspiration
vice
to make the
president
Assistant
at Google.
useful and enjoyable
president of
in one of
product
the most
management since
important places
2007.
in your world,
He's on the
where you spend
Chromecast team,
time
which is
with your family.
Interesting.
When I walk into my house,
Wearing a Moto
I want to
360
be able
Sport.
to continue to have access to the Google Assistant, but I should be able to interact with it in a hands-free way, simply using my voice without
hands-free.
having to take out my phone. This is why we're creating
Count the devices in the picture.
Google Home.
Google Home,
A
there you
device
go.
which will be available later this year. Google Home lets you enjoy music and entertainment throughout your entire house, manage everyday tasks more easily, and ask Google what you want to know. All of this will be done by speaking with the assistant. It will let anyone in the family, kids or adults, have a conversation with Google. Google Home is unmatched in far-field voice recognition since it's powered by more than 10 years of innovation in natural language processing. I can continue the two-way dialogue with the assistant that Sundar mentioned earlier, whether I'm standing nearby cooking dinner or sitting across the room playing a game with my daughter. With Google Home, we set out to create and design a beautiful product that's warm and inviting and fits naturally in
There you
many
go. It
areas
does-
of the home.
It looks like an
We're
on-hub,
designing
rather.
the top
Yeah, with
to
a
blend
speaker
into your
base.
home.
Looks like
We'll
an air
give you the
freshener.
option to
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it
customize
looks
the
like an air
base with different
freshener.
colors and finishes,
Yeah.
including
Oh, wow.
metal and
You can change
fabric
the base.
to reflect your home style, whether it be in the living room, the kitchen, or
Well,
the
that's
bedroom.
not too big at all.
We're putting
Yeah.
a lot of craftsmanship.
Right, it really does
into
look
the
like one of the
hardware
on-hub.
design,
Ah, look, LEDs on
including
the top.
LEDs placement and choreography, the speaker that's going to fill the room you're in with music, the microphone system, and the clean face without any buttons.
Oh, this looks so good.
Looks like Wall-E.
Look at that.
There it is, very small.
Yeah.
He's holding in his hand, I'd say about
This
5 or
is
6
Google
inches. It's a little wider
We
than
think
the
it'll be a beautiful
Echo.
addition to any room in your house.
3 or 4 inches wide.
And we're even more excited about what it's going to do for you.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
He's going to talk
First,
to it, I imagine.
Music and entertainment are a big part of what makes being at home relaxing and fun. Not long ago, we introduced Chromecast, designed to
big
play
deal because
your favorite shows.
I listen to lots of music on
movies,
Echo just
YouTube
because
videos
it's so
on the
easy to
biggest
play music
screen
on
in
it.
your house.
Exactly, even though it's not the
Last
best speaker,
year,
yeah.
We added
Oh, tell
Chromecast
me that
Audio
you send stuff to
bring the
Chromecast
music
Audio
you love
automatically. That would
to your
make me
best
so
speakers.
happy.
Chromecast has been one of the hottest selling consumer electronics products since the day it launched. And Google Home will
That's a great
build on those
observation.
experiences.
Is he
Google
wearing a
Home
first-generation
is a
Moto?
Wi-Fi speaker
No, he's a
that
360
streams
Sport.
music directly from the
got it.
cloud so you get the highest quality playback. It will deliver rich bass and clear highs, all from a beautiful, compact form factor. Of course, you can access songs, playlists, albums, artists, and podcasts from your favorite music services.
Thank you,
Just by
podcasts.
asking with your voice. Or if you prefer, you can send music from your Android or iOS device
Oh, cool.
to
So
for
it's a
Google
Chromecast
Cast.
Audio target.
Yep.
And unlike
That makes sense,
other
right?
home assistants, Google Cast support allows you to control other speakers in your
There
home
we go.
And it supports
without
other
a complicated setup.
Anything
So
else
when
that
you want to
Chromecast Audio
listen to
connects to?
Coldplay in the
Oh, boy.
living room,
Plug this into
on the
a
living
home
room
theater set.
speakers, you can simply
Yeah.
say, "Play Viva la Vida" in the living room, and it'll start
Yes. That's
playing. Cast
awesome.
support
Exactly what it
also
should do.
enables
That's
multi-room
pretty
playback,
cool.
so that you can add one or more Google Home devices to a group of speakers and really blast.
This kills
your favorite
Sonos as
tunes.
well, doesn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
And it
boy.
lets you
that's-
control your video
especially
content
the Chromecast
too.
Audio. They're only 30
Let's say
bucks,
that
and
you
you
want
can
to
plug
watch
them
that
into anything.
episode
Yeah.
of Jimmy Kimmel, or
I
the
actually
trending
bought too
YouTube
many.
video
I've got
on
them
your
plugged
TV.
into everything, and
Just
I
tell
have a few
Google
extras
Home,
left over.
and the content will appear on the biggest, brightest screen in your house.
Nice.
Oh, God. They're also going to sell a lot of Chromecast
Next.
with this.
Yep.
And they've
Google
already
Home
Why
sold
would you
so
not?
many
If you
of
have
them.
one of these, why would you not want a Chromecast on every TV you have?
Right.
Home is
This
where
is
lots of
such a
daily
big
tasks
play. If this
just need
works,
to get
and if
done.
this is less than
Having
200 bucks,
access
this is
to
such
the
a
Google
big play.
Assistant makes
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
a lot easier. It's like having a voice-activated remote control to the real world whenever
You know that
need
they're not
it.
making a solid
You can
gold
do
one
the
and selling for
basics, like
$20,000.
setting alarms and
They're
timers,
good at making
or
things good
managing
and
to-do
cheap.
lists and shopping lists. We're also designing Google Home to connect your smart home
Timers,
seamlessly.
alarms.
It will support the most
Smart home
popular
support.
home networking systems so that you can easily control
Nest.
your lights.
You just listed everything that I use my Echo
switches,
for.
and more, including our own Nest devices. Further in the future, we'll work with developers to make it possible to control things beyond the home, like booking a car, ordering dinner, or sending flowers to mom, and much, much more, all with just your voice.
I'm just going to go ahead and unplug my Echo right now. You don't need to hear
Poor
her.
Echo. She shouldn't be hearing this.
Google.
It's
You don't need
okay,
to hear
Echo.
this.
I'm just
you want to
unplugging
know.
you so I can dust
Of
underneath
course,
you.
you can
I
get
want you to be
basics
nice and
like
clean when
the
I put you on
weather or
eBay.
facts
So
that
is
you
Ask
can
Google
find on
the
Wikipedia.
Ask Google's the trigger
But
phrase,
what
I
makes
guess.
Google Home really shine is that it has search built in. It draws on 17 years of innovation in organizing the world's information to answer questions which are difficult for other assistants to handle. You might ask, how much fat is in an avocado? Or what is Draymond Green's jersey number? And then follow up that last question with, where did he go to college?
If there's a
Or try something more
limitation in the
complex.
Alexa, it's just
What
that it
was the
doesn't
US
have all of that
population
intelligence.
when
You
NASA
can't-
was established?
Yeah, there's no
You will
follow-up.
get
There's no
immediate,
conversation.
But it also
accurate
just doesn't
answers
know a lot
from
of stuff.
Google
It doesn't.
each time.
It's limited on the
And
platform.
the
It just
Google
knows what you
Assistant
bought.
not
Yeah,
only knows
so.
a lot about the world, but
This
it
is
will
going to
stand
eliminate the
apart
tablet
in
on the
how it
couch
can
searching
also
while
get to
you're
know
just going to
you
say it
over
out
time.
loud now.
With your permission,
Well,
of course.
Do you really want to do that?
It can help
Right.
you retrieve
Depends what you're
your
searching for.
travel itinerary, your daily
Travel
schedule,
itinerary?
your
It really is all
traffic to
about
work,
having a
your
third
package
screen that doesn't
delivery
have a screen.
information, and much
Yep.
more.
Every time I tie
as
my shoes in the
Google
living room
keeps
going out,
getting
I just
better,
say, hey,
so will Google
Shmomo,
Home.
what's the weather right now?
Right.
So
Without
that's
looking
Google
up.
Home, a beautiful, smart, voice-enabled assistant for the whole family.
Yeah, they're going to say price if they're
Enjoy
not saying
music and
availability.
entertainment throughout your entire house.
Yeah, they just said later this
Manage
year.
everyday tasks
And also knows the
effortlessly.
no
and
live
ask
demo of
Google
any kind.
What you want to know.
That's what I've been waiting for. I want to see him
It's
use
early
it.
days, but we want to give you
Here it comes.
and show you how we envision the Google Assistant coming to life at home. We created a
This is-
short video
Yeah, see?
to bring the product into a family setting to capture what it might be like
They're not
in the
showing
future to have your
working in
personal
any way,
Google
shape, or form.
around the house. Let's roll the video.
Is that just to avoid any fails?
Well,
Yeah, also people show, well, there's no need to show it.
Okay, playing
It
morning
could also
playlist.
just be a very lovely paperweight right now.
he didn't use a trigger phrase, by the way.
Okay,
I
Google,
just want
play
to point.
music in
now
all
he's
rooms.
using it.
Oh, that's mean.
I've done that. It's a terrible
same
thing to
here.
do to children.
That and my hue lights.
Okay, Google, I'm listening.
Your flight to Portland is delayed by 30 minutes.
Change my dinner reservation
What?
tonight
So
from
it beeped
7:30
at
to
her
8.
with a
Your
notification.
reservation
It
at
looked like
Andina
so.
is now confirmed for
That's
8
it.
p.m.
Okay, Google, I'm listening as a
Yeah.
trigger.
So it has
Hey, Google,
notifications.
Text Louise, flight is delayed, dinner moved to 8.
Okay, message sent.
Whoa, sending a
voice.
text from the
Hey,
device.
Google, turn the lights on in Kevin's room.
I like it that it knows about all the
I thought you finished that already.
locales.
I forgot. Okay, Google, what's apples in Spanish?
Manzanas.
Hey, Google, has my package shipped?
Yes, it's
She said,
already
"Hey,
shipped.
Google."
It'll arrive tomorrow.
Ooh, is that for me?
Maybe.
Interesting.
Okay, Google, how many stars are in our galaxy?
Well, there are about 100 to 400 billion stars, according to space.com.
That's an
Which
interesting
star
touch.
is the closest?
Well, comma,
According
there's-
to NASA, the nearest star system is Alpha Centauri.
Can you show me what it looks like on the TV?
That's interesting, huh?
Okay, Google, how's the traffic from Pebble Rock School to the airport?
Your normal route has heavy traffic. There's a
the
faster
phone
one
in his
that'll
pocket.
take about 35 minutes.
There's
I've
the
sent it
Waze
to your phone.
integration. Oh, she's sending it to
Okay.
the phone.
Let's go.
How many of those 7,000 phones are now lighting up in that room?
Hey, Google, what's on the calendar today?
The first event is Space Day at Kevin's school. It starts at 8 a.m.
Space Day. Are you ready, buddy?
Ready.
Let's go.
I didn't hear the Google guy say that, but okay.
We
Okay, Google,
hear
make me a
and
better
obey. Hail Google.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, that's
Oh, I'm
interesting.
scared. This is very her-ish, isn't it?
A good,
Oh,
a
it
good
turned the Nest off. Yeah.
Good-
Turned off all
Goodbye
the lights
command.
and set everything to low.
The crowd
that
goes
actually
wild.
works.
That's impressive.
Amazon has a platform
We're really,
for
really
writing
excited about
tasks, an
what's
open
ahead.
platform, which would be nice
Google
to see as
Home
well.
will be available later this year. In the meantime, to stay up to date with the latest news, please sign up at google.com/home. We wanted to share this early preview at I/O so that we can work with partners in a more open way to
There is
deliver
a site
awesome
there.
experiences at launch. We'll have a lot more to share soon with the developer community about how to begin to integrate with the Google
Doesn't have
Assistant.
much on it.
And with that, let me ask Sundar back on stage.
Google.com/home.
Yeah, it's got a little slideshow of day and night, your Google at home everywhere.
I'm getting 404.
No, it's coming up for me, really.
Thank you, Mario. It's really exciting to see the Google Assistant come to life with
sign
Google
up to
Home
get notified about it.
and to help
Yeah, I
get
signed
people
up.
things done. To do this well,
That
as
was
Mario
exciting,
mentioned,
and that was just a hit.
we
the
really
lead up.
need to work with developers and third parties so that we can provide
Here's the
these
interesting
actions
thing.
for our users.
Okay, third-party action.
We already do this a lot at Google today. Using Google products, you can already book a movie ticket with Fandango, get a car with Uber, listen to music on Spotify, book a restaurant with OpenTable.
This is not a
maybe record
hypothetical
ride with
or
Strava,
tech-based feature.
and
This is
many,
something
many
that
more such use
once
cases.
you're in a house with somebody
So
who
we are
has
thinking
one
about this
and
thoughtfully.
you see what they do with it,
Comprehensive way
there's going to be a fast, hi,
Third-party
hello,
developers
magic
can
device.
interact with the
Oh, I
assistant.
see by your phone that
And
you
we'll be
are
sharing
Gern
a lot
Blandstev.
more.
Would you like me to buy you one? Sure.
I talked earlier that we are working hard at core use cases on mobile. One such important use case is photos. Last year, thanks to the advances in computer vision, we approach photos with a new perspective. We announced Google Photo at Google I/O last year with the goal to help users find and organize their photos and videos, keep them safe, and share them effortlessly with their family and friends on any device. We've seen tremendous adoption with Google Photos, and just in the past year, we have seen tremendous adoption, and today we are at over 200 million monthly active users.
It's probably thanks to all that storage.
Yeah.
Our computer vision systems have
It actually seems like
automatically
a
applied
kind of a low number, but
over
maybe I'm spoiled by
2 trillion
Facebook
labels.
numbers.
This is what allows us, when you search for Pomeranian, to find the right picture. And by the way, over 24 billion of those labels are for selfies. We even have Pomeranian selfies.
Oh, Lord. I liked
Google Photos
hugs.
shows
What
what's
kind of ads are those
possible
people getting?
when you approach an existing area from a new perspective. Another core use case on users' phones is communications. It's an exciting area, and there is a lot of innovation. But given our advancements in machine learning, we wanted to approach this core use case with a new perspective. Eric Kai is going to join to talk to you more about it.
I've been happy with the Photos app. I think this past year has been great. I use it way more now.
I just bought an upgrade to storage for it.
Yeah.
You know, communications is all about sharing life's moments.
This guy,
That great restaurant I found, the winning shot in overtime,
director of engineering.
my daughter's recital. Today, I can share moments like these the second they happen, just by pulling out my phone and sending a message. Communications is such an important part of our lives, and it's an important focus for Google as well. What makes me personally excited about communications is the potential for innovation.
Photos works
when
really
you
well because
combine
it tries
the
to
power of
enhance
mobile
your existing photos
with
experience
advancements
instead of
in machine
replacing
learning.
it. And that's just fraught with
today,
danger.
We're giving you a look at what we've been up to with 2 new communication apps that show what's possible when we bring Google technology to this essential human activity. The first is a new messaging app called Allo.
Here we go. He is in charge of Hangouts as well, by the way. So we've been waiting for, what is Google going to do
Allo
in the
is a smart messaging app.
yeah, the bot
This is all
space.
going to be run
Learns
by
over
Jibe.
time to make conversations easier,
What is Jibe?
more
Jibe is the
expressive, and
RCS
more
client that they've acquired a few months back.
bringing all the richness of Google right into your chat.
So this is the
Allo's based on your
Hangouts
phone
replacement.
number, so you can easily get in touch with anyone in your phone book. This morning, we're going to walk you through 3 areas
I wish they'd named it
that
Pronto.
make Allo really special.
I wonder if the folks at Allo are worried now.
Some fun ways to
Worried
express
about
yourself.
what?
Exactly. That time everyone remembered them.
We'll talk about what it means to have the Google Assistant built right into your messaging app.
This is very interesting.
And finally, we'll tell you how Allo keeps your conversations private and secure. So let's get started. On the stage with me to help demo is Amit. He leads product management.
Here we go, live demo.
Co-op. There you go, live demo.
We've been waiting for
And on the screen behind me,
Google
you can
to
see
drop
Amit's
the
in a
other
chat
shoe.
with
They've
his,
obviously abandoned their
conversation with his friend Joy.
Hangouts, and
Yeah.
their messaging
also
app
seems
is really
to
just...
We designed Allo
Knock
to help
aside
you
live on
express
tap.
yourself
Excuse me,
and
now
keep
on
the
tap.
conversation going.
Yeah.
You think that if you're in
So,
a
of
messaging
course,
app, you hold down the
there's
button,
a
it should be
great
able to
selection
do
of stickers
Right.
specific
Well,
things.
it does on
From
Gboard on
independent
the
artists
iOS,
and
doesn't it?
content producers from around the world.
It's context aware, so...
Expression is more than just emojis and stickers. So we've added more features.
This is
that help
This
you
is why
say
they
what you
didn't
mean.
put a specialized Google
First,
keyboard
Let's
on
look at
Android.
Whisper Shout.
This would be the alternative.
We wanted to give you a way to add more emotion to your words.
This is not available yet in the Play
Sometimes
Store, as
you
far
want
as
to
I
get your
can
point
tell.
across big and bold. Other times you want to say things a bit more softly. Whisper Shout lets you express how you really feel by making your replies very big or very small. Amit, could you show everyone how that works?
Can I
This
have
could be
flashing
dangerous.
text too? Yeah.
So, Amit has typed
blink
yay
tag.
and throws a smiley face in there. Now watch, rather than tapping the send button, he slides it down.
Little
slides it
yay,
up again
big
to
yay.
shout.
That's kind of
Down
silly.
to whisper, and up again to shout.
I can't decide if that's genius or super annoying.
It's going to be super
Yeah, I think it's
annoying,
pretty
but
cool
it's
too.
kind of cute.
No more yelling in all caps to get your point across. It's also fun to add emotion to your photos.
It's a fun control, though.
And Ink lets you get creative with the photos you send.
Here's Snapchatting.
Amit's picked a photo of his adorable
Sketch.
baby girl and wrote ahoy
Yeah.
on the little sailor. Posted it. It's that simple.
If I can't put a
I use
beard
Ink
on
all
the baby,
time.
I don't want
It's
it.
really fun. Another way Allo helps you express yourself is by letting you type less, a lot less. We've taken a page from the Inbox playbook and built Smart Reply right into your chat conversations.
That's an interesting feature in Google Inbox that is actually
This is especially powerful
uncannily
in
accurate.
messaging when you're on the go. So now you can keep your conversations going with just a quick tap. So you can see
It's a really nice
when
feature.
Joy asks, dinner later, that Amit has offered 2 Smart Reply suggestions. I'm busy and I'm in.
Don't know if I like that.
Promise I won't act out anymore.
I use it on Inbox all the time. It's actually quite handy.
So,
and if it's
Allo
good,
uses machine learning to
and it is
suggest
good on
replies
Inbox, it's
on the
very
fly,
useful.
I wanted
anticipating what you
I
might
wanted to
wanna
help
say
me
next.
reply quickly,
Now,
but I
these
wanted
aren't
to reply the
just
way I
canned
would,
replies.
not the way that.
Right.
Allo learns over
It
time.
seems to do that.
A new
and will suggest
generic speak. A
responses
new.
based
No,
on
no,
how
it seems to
you
do that on
like to
Inbox. I've
express
been
yourself.
quite impressed.
The more you use Allo, the better the suggestions will become.
Yeah, see?
So the suggestions you see are unique to you.
There you
Okay,
go.
there you
Yeah.
go.
You can
That's
say the
listening.
things you
Thank
want
you.
without having to
that
type
could get
a
really
single
dangerous
word.
after a while.
And
though,
since
depending on who you
messaging
talk
is
to.
I've found Inbox to be surprisingly good.
Contain stickers and emojis too.
Honey,
Because as they say,
I borrowed your
an
phone
emoji's
to text
worth
my mom
1,000 words.
and started
Right.
texting really sexy to you, my mom. You like to explain that?
Now I want to
don't
show
need
you
the-
something
The
really
suggestions I get from my brother-in-law to go to my wife.
cool. Allo
That's-
even offers smart replies when people send photos to you.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow, that's
Bernie
specific.
Button Dog.
Again, the image recognition strength of Google is
This
phenomenal.
works because
And
in
anticipating
addition
your
to
response to say,
understanding
nice Bernese mountain
Allo
dog.
builds
Very
on Google's computer
Holy
vision
Absolutely something.
to understand the
Nicely
content
done.
and the context of images.
Nicely
In
done.
this case,
Where's the
Allo
barrel of
understood
rum?
The picture was of a dog. Wow. That it was a cute dog. And that even the breed of the dog.
That's pretty good.
In our internal testing, we found that Allo is 90% accurate at determining whether a dog deserves the
Okay,
cute
this I
dog
want
response.
today. Whether the dog deserves. That's cute.
So let's try something even harder.
Pasta?
When Joy sends a photo of pasta, we're able to identify the precise details of the image and
I
create
walk around
smart
saying I love
replies.
linguine on a daily basis.
It knows it's linguine?
What's really cool here
But you haven't
is that
been
we
on your
don't just
bicycle in 9
identify
days. Are
what's
you
in
wanting
the image.
a heavy cream
Smart
sauce?
replies
Really, Marsha?
actually creates a conversational response.
In special shaming mode.
Something like yummy.
for our older
kind of
users.
thing you would actually say in response to a photo of food.
Oh, this is going to save me so much time.
This is only possible because we've married
Gratuitous
our
replies
strengths
have
in
never
computer
been easier.
and natural language processing. And if you think about it, there's a
Will that
lot of
hook up
complex
to
technology
Google
at work
Home device? If I keep
just
it
to
by
help
the
you say
door, I
something
can have like
as fun,
conversations with
as
neighbors who are
simple
dropping
and
by
natural
without
as
actually coming downstairs.
Hello, Herman.
So, that's a little how Allo helps you express yourself.
Well,
and
that's
keep
one of
your
the strengths
conversations
Google
going.
has, is all of this ties
The
together,
intelligence
right?
behind Smart
One
Reply
would hope.
also gives you a taste at how assistive technology can make your message experience simpler and more productive.
They're not talking about chamfer angles
Google
here. They're
Assistant,
talking about
built right into
Now,
Allo,
something
takes
cool
it
that's
even
very
farther.
practical.
I should point
So
out this
please
guy is
introduce
also in charge
one of
not
our
only of
leads,
Hangouts, but
Rebecca,
Google
to tell
Fi.
you more about the assistant in Allo.
Okay.
And when you sign up for Fi, they say, oh, please don't use Hangouts, please.
Thanks, Eric. So as you heard earlier, the Google Assistant
woman
is
on
an
the stage.
ongoing dialogue between you and Google that
Wearing
helps
the
you get
women's
things
edition
done
Moto
in your
360.
world. It's also designed as an ambient experience that's there for you whenever you need it. And in messaging, that really means bringing the Google Assistant right into your conversation with friends.
Oh boy, here
So
we
I'm
go.
going to show you how the Assistant can help in Amit and Joy's conversation. So they're planning a dinner, and Joy now says she'd like Italian food. The Assistant intelligently recognizes that they could use some tips for Italian restaurants nearby.
This is bots
and
done
you can
right.
see its proactive suggestion at the bottom of the screen there.
I hope, because bots are so
Tapping
annoying.
this brings up restaurant cards that everyone in the chat can see.
Wow.
Whoa.
These are powered
Okay.
by Google's knowledge graph, which means that Allo can help with all kinds of information in the real world. So there's some back and forth about which restaurant to go to, and it looks like they're leaning towards Cucina at 7 o'clock. So Amit taps on the restaurant card to bring up more details.
This is just
Looks
integrating Google Now into the
Serves pasta,
conversation.
which we know Joy
I've been
loves.
waiting for them to do something with
So
that.
Amit can now go ahead and make a reservation right there at your open table.
That's like
That's
The
the,
assistant
cool.
prompts him to confirm the number of diners.
it's also like Google Wave. Remember that was
And
supposed to
what
have
time they want to
interactive,
eat.
intelligent participants in the conversation.
And now they're booked and ready to go.
This is so much
what we're
better than
seeing
the
here-
chatbot solution that Facebook's offering, because it's a different bot each
What we're
time. This is
seeing here
integrated into
is
your
completely
existing
new.
Yeah.
conversation.
In
I
the
noticed that
past,
Google is at
Amit
Google.
would
It's
have had
presented
to
as a
leave the
member
chat
of the conversation,
Right.
to do a Google
not as
search,
another card that,
return
that
with some
pops up.
restaurant options,
Always
switch
listening,
back again,
always suggesting.
to share the options,
Always judging.
Time to
out
get
there.
over that. Just embrace our overlords and move
and then
on.
come
Yeah.
back in to share the
That's
details
Google's
with the
your
rest of the
best
group.
friend. Just ask it.
Yeah.
In Allo, Amit and Joy could choose and
Hey,
reserve
I'll take
a
any
restaurant
friends at this
right
point.
there in the chat.
Well, this
in a
is
natural
part of the
and seamless
deal.
way.
It's always Google has always been. We will give you incredible free stuff that works
Right.
great based on our knowledge of you, if you're willing to let us know about you and monetize that in a way that
So
hopefully you'll approve
OpenTable
of.
will be just one of
Now that
the
deal
many
is getting
partners that will be part
better
of the
and
Google
better
Assistant
for some
ecosystem.
people.
And we can't wait to share more soon with the
We use
developer
OpenTable a
community
lot.
about how to get started.
Although I have to say, this very Gen Y demonstration. There's always the bots. They're always going out, having drinks with
Cool.
friends.
So we saw
Always
some
doing
proactive
stuff.
Doing
suggestions
stuff.
from Google there. You can also call
What can you do
the
for me?
Google Assistant directly at any time just by typing at Google, as Amit's doing now.
There you go.
And he's going to ask for funny cat pics. Really, Amit? Okay. Cool. So Google obliges, of course, with a lovely lineup of cats from Google Image Search. Wow, that chin.
This is what Gboard does on iOS as well.
Okay, so
the
you
Google
just saw how
keyboard
the
that
Google
came out
Assistant
this
can be
week.
really helpful in groups. You can also have a one-on-one chat with Google.
Start group chat,
So what we're
start
seeing now is
incognito
Amit's
chat.
contact
That's
list.
interesting.
And Google's
Looks like
appearing at the
encryption
top.
built in.
So let's jump in and have a chat. Just like with any other conversation, this one picks
This is
up
kind of a
right where you
telegram
left
color.
off.
Is what
And
this
the
is.
assistant will remember things like your name and even tell you how it's feeling.
Yes, this is WhatsApp on steroids.
So let's try something more interesting. Amit's a big Real Madrid fan, and he wants to know how they got on in their last match. So he asked the assistant, did my team win?
And they know, of course.
Looks like they did. They won their, some Real Madrid fans out there.
So this is just a conversation with Google,
Cool.
basically.
So they won their last
Google's
match
the
on
bot.
Saturday. Let's see when they're playing next.
And Google asks its friends to help when it needs to. Because that was an
pretty
open
cool.
table.
They're through to the
reservation.
Champions League final at the end of the month. And we can keep going like this and find more news about the team just by tapping
I think this is
on
a
the
much better way to
suggestions
do bots.
Let's go ahead and tap on
you,
their
you have an
roster.
intermediary bot that you're talking to that's handling everything.
There we go. We have a carousel with
this
all
is
their
also
top
kind
talent.
of a takeaway
And
from
should we check out
Cortana
everyone's
was
favorite?
really the first that allowed you to kind of send physical messages instead of just speaking.
Okay, there he is, Mr. Ronaldo.
It doesn't have a
and let's see
name.
some of
It's
his,
okay for it to be called
his
just
best
Google.
tricks.
Well, it's Allo, but that's not a great name.
But
So
I bet there was a
Amit
lot of
only has to type
discussion.
best tricks. And the assistant
Microsoft puts a
understands
lot of
the
work in
context
maintaining
and
the
that he needs
character of
Ronaldo
Cortana,
to
way more
use
than
and responds
Apple
with a
puts into
YouTube
Siri.
video.
But I think it works for Google because it's just Google. Putting any other intermediary brand adds confusion.
Now, but if we
you
did
know?
tap it,
It's
it
like
would
it's like
play right there
sriracha.
in the
It's like here is an ingredient that we have added to this that we know that you
let's
approve
play a
of.
game instead. Amit's asking Google to play a game. And, okay, Google's suggesting the emoji
Shall
game.
we play a game?
Right.
Yeah.
The way this works is Google
Thermonuclear
provides
war?
a string of emojis.
I will be very disappointed
and
if
you
that
have to
doesn't
guess the
result in
film
something
title.
cool.
Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, let's play.
The emoji game.
Oh, this is
Okay,
a kind of
so
a riff
looks
on
like
Facebook
we've got a
doing
crown
like chess inside of their
and some
messenger chat.
rings. Any ideas? Lord of the Rings? Oh, I hear the
That is a
Princess
big deal because
Bride over
sometimes you
there.
really do want to use a
Amit,
voice
any
assistant,
ideas?
but you're in a place where you can't use your voice or can't use the
voice.
microphone.
Yep.
You just want to
Lord
privately.
of the Rings. Oh, it's too
Which is something that
easy.
Cortana has done really well, and they were the only one for a
we
little
could
while
keep
there.
going, but I
I suspect you could use voice for this as well.
Well, no, I'm saying that, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a good alternative because if all you can do is say, "Okay, Shlomo, do," but I'm in the middle. I'm in a party and I don't want to say this out loud.
They're good. Okay, so this is obviously a super simple game, and there's a bunch more that you can play in Allo, but we really think that the best games will come from the developer community.
Very nice.
Sounds like developers agree.
So that was the assistant in Allo, allowing you to harness all of the richness and knowledge of Google from search, YouTube's, maps, photos, as well as many of our partners to have fun and get things done. As you saw, the interface is inherently personal and conversational.
There's so many
and the smart
places where I'd like to
suggestion
use a
chips help
voice,
to
like
keep the
if I'm on a bus,
conversation
from on a
flowing.
subway.
Right.
Even if
But
noise
most
were an issue, I
importantly,
don't want
for the first
people next to me to
time,
hear
you can use
what I'm searching
Google
for,
in your
what I'm asking
chats
to.
with your friends. And with that, I'll hand it back to Eric.
Boy, that's good.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Much better take on,
Thanks, Amit.
on bots and messaging.
I'm really excited about the possibilities that Google Assistant brings to messaging. Now let's talk a bit about privacy and security. We realize that sometimes people want to be incognito. Of course, this applies to chat as well. So, following in the footsteps of Chrome, we've created an incognito mode for Allo.
Yeah, but what does it mean?
While all messages in Allo are encrypted, chats in incognito mode are end-to-end encrypted.
Wow.
Incognito chats have discrete notifications, hiding the sender and the message contents from shoulder surfers and prying eyes. Incognito also offers message expiration, so you're in control of how long your private messages stick around.
Snapchat.
And similar to when you close an incognito window in Chrome, when you delete an incognito conversation in Allo, it's gone forever, and no one can see it again on your device. With incognito mode, Allo gives users additional controls over their privacy and security, and we anticipate adding even more security features to it.
So we want to know what kind of encryption, how authentication
So that's
is
Allo.
done, how do you identify?
Allo is fast, smart, and secure.
It's probably
and it lets
not
you
a
express yourself
replacement.
in fun new ways. And
wish they
Allo
were a
will
little
be the
bit clearer
first
about
home for the
signaling.
Google Assistant.
What you get
as
free
it
with
starts
Allo
to
and what
take
only
shape,
happens when you're
bringing
using
the
incognito
richness of
mode.
Google right into your chats. Now, Allo is all about messaging, but let me talk to you a minute about video calling.
Okay, here we go.
Just as technology has helped connect people through messaging,
This is also a feature of most
video
new
calling
messaging
has
apps and
brought
has been rumored
families
to
and
be
friends
added to
together
WhatsApp soon.
from around the world. It can be a magical experience. So why don't we pick up the phone and do it more often? Well, maybe the other person has a different kind of phone. Maybe the connection is a little spotty.
I'm not sold on this, though.
And even when it
every
does
time I see people using FaceTime, they look like crazy people.
Getting a call can often feel intrusive.
I think we're making fewer calls in general, video otherwise.
Well, but you need to be able to do everything.
That's why we
Yeah,
challenge
really do.
ourselves to
No, and
design.
they should build this in.
a video calling experience that would feel magical.
And after all, they have
time.
WebRTC. They have the technology.
I'd like to introduce
in
you
Hangouts.
to Duo.
Duo.
A simple one-to-one video calling app
Allo,
for everyone.
Duo.
Allo and Duo.
That's interesting too, because video conferencing is grandma and grandchildren.
Duo is the video companion to Allo.
Make
It's
it really
fast
simple
and performs well even on slow networks. It's end-to-end encrypted. It's based on your phone number, allowing you to easily get in touch with the people you care about.
It's their version
and it
of
works
FaceTime.
on both Android and iOS.
Ah.
But here's a feature that makes Allo really special. We call it Knock Knock. Knock Knock shows you a live video stream of the caller before you've even picked up. Not only can you see who's calling, but what they're up to.
And how ugly they
why
are.
they're calling.
Your phone is now a
Smile.
your door.
Who else is there?
A newborn baby can all draw you into the moment, making calls feel spontaneous and natural.
We're working with certain companies located in the
puts you
Beltway
right
area
into the call, seamlessly
been developing this
transitioning from the
technology
live
for
preview
decades.
to the live call. Knock Knock totally changes what it's like to receive a video call. So let's take a look.
It's like being able to look through a peephole before you open the door.
I don't know anything that
Almost
does
right
this.
on cue.
Skype doesn't do this.
I'm getting a call from my daughter Ava. I use
Oh,
Ava
that's
for
really
all
so.
my
It's caller
demos.
ID.
But live video.
Yeah.
So as you can see,
That's cute.
and
Easily
Elena
implemented by
too,
everybody else, but
popping
it's,
in
I
there.
think it's a nice idea.
I haven't even picked up yet, but Ava's right there, smiling and making funny faces.
It's
I
okay
can
because
tell she's
the
really
initiator
eager
of
to
the
talk,
call
so let's answer
has
it.
to assume that they're on camera.
That's. I'm sure
Hi,
it
Ava.
says.
Hi, Elena.
You know, you're on camera.
Hi, girls.
With your presentation yet?
Almost. I'll be done soon. Could you wave to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
All right.
That's cute.
Hello.
Hi, Ava.
Bye. I'll talk to you soon.
Why did you pull your kids from school today?
Yeah, I mean, you're initiating the call. I'm sure it's going to say, "Would you like a live video as an ID?"
I'll see you backstage in 8 seconds.
Yeah, right.
At our fake house.
So you just saw how Knock Knock drew us into the conversation with Ava and Elena.
Cross-platform, which
before we
FaceTime is
even picked
not.
it up. And how fast and smooth it was. Now, Knock
Yes,
Knock
you
only
optimize
works
for
when the
Google
video is
stuff.
instant.
I like that.
There can't be a gap between the phone ringing and the video appearing. This is a really hard technical problem, but we're uniquely positioned to tackle it.
I'm
Duo
sure
was
this is
built by the team that
WebRTC
created
and VP9.
WebRTC,
Yeah.
Yep.
the
there it
open
is.
source platform that now powers much of today's mobile video communication. And we know this technology like no one else. We used a new protocol called Quick that allows Duo to establish an encrypted connection in a single round trip. We obsessed over every last detail of video transmission, hand tuning and optimizing codecs, bandwidth probing, encryption, and more. The result is the unique feel of Knock Knock. You're right there in an instant. So the other thing that really sets Duo apart is how reliable it makes video calling. Duo works wherever
Quick
you
uses
want,
HTTP
whether
as
it's
the
New York or New Delhi,
transport.
Buenos Aires or Butte, at home or on the road.
Well, the natural
Duo
language stuff
proactively
automatically
monitors
launches up and I
network
say,
quality
oh, God
multiple
damn it,
times per
Skype.
second, allowing it to
Automatically
degrade
open a
gracefully
correct port.
when bandwidth is limited, and to seamlessly switch between Wi-Fi and cellular. And of course, this all happens automatically behind the scenes, so you don't have to worry about it. All this technology combines with a
Quick
smooth
is
interface
UDP
that fades away,
for HTTP2.
allowing you to focus on each other in beautiful HD video and audio.
Yeah, I'm looking at the IETF
This is what makes Duo a video calling experience that feels unlike anything you've used before.
document for
Now,
this.
I'd like to
It's
show
very
you a
new.
short video that shows how Duo brings magic back to video calling.
Security equivalent to TLS.
It does look not unlike FaceTime.
Yeah.
That could be just the result of simplicity.
But unlike FaceTime, it supports open standards. And
that's too cute.
Is cross-platform.
Also note that, again, live demos of that. This is the first live... Oh, but one of the...
They did one.
No, we were seeing lots of live demos of this.
Right.
I'll admit that seeing the person before you answer the call,
a good idea.
That's a pretty cool, and,
Yeah.
and it doesn't look to be skipping or
Yeah.
like, yeah. It's,
We'll see about that.
Well, that's another thing that they keep talking about, that Google
WebRTC
services
scales well.
worldwide, and not every place in the world has great internet service.
Right. No, and that's one of the advantages of WebRTC.
How fun
It
and
does scale well.
spontaneous video calls become with Duo. We're incredibly excited to be connecting people all over the world with these two new apps. Allo, a smart messaging app with expression and the power of Google Assistant. And Duo, a simple video app with the spontaneity of Knock Knock. Both Allo and Duo will be available this summer on Android and iOS. Now, to talk to you about a bit about Android, I'd like to invite to the stage our resident rock star, Dave Burke.
You think they'll unveil what N stands for now?
I hope so.
Thanks, Eric.
I don't think so.
Hey, I'm Dave. It's amazing to be here at Google I/O 2016 at the Shoreline Amphitheater. All right. What a great venue.
Cleveland.
I think this is going to be the very closest I get to my childhood dream of being a rock star on the stage.
You know, it is interesting.
There's something
This is
wrong
outside
about
in
nerds
the
being allowed on a
daylight
rock
instead
star
of
stage like this. But anyway.
dark
All right.
It's
cave.
weird, isn't it? Yeah, I like
It's a
it.
different vibe. It's a different energy.
I like
We were
it.
talking about that after All About Android last night. Is this the first outdoor keynote?
I can't
we've ever
remember one
seen?
before this.
And a key driver
We can't
of this
do
scale
Jazz
is
Odyssey for
Android.
Festival Crab.
As you've heard, this year marks the 10th anniversary of our first developer conference. It's also been 10 years since we started working on Android. So how are we doing? Well, Android is the most popular OS in the world. More than 600 Android smartphones have launched in the last year alone. Everything from Disney princess phones to metal unibody devices tricked out in titanium. There's a phone for everyone. And as Android continues to expand into new screens, like on the wrist and in the car, and on TVs and connected devices, there's increased opportunity for developers to reach users, whether they're at home or on the go. Android Wear. There are now 12 partner brands with iconic watchmakers like Tag Heuer and designers like Michael Kors. Android TV. There are now millions of new Android TV devices growing rapidly with media content and games from the biggest names in the industry.
Are there really?
Android Auto,
There are.
more than 100 car
Only on
models
the
and
Shield TV,
stereos
though.
have launched,
Yeah, exactly.
with another 100 on their way by the end of the year. And of course, Google Play. There were 65 billion installs in the last year alone.
You know, this is a
And I'm just
developer
in
conference, and they
constant awe of
haven't
all the
made a whole lot
amazing
of pitch
apps
yet.
and
Here's why
services
it's
that
so
you're
valuable for
creating
you to
that's
do a lot of
fueling
development
this.
on Android. This seems like the first time they've been talking to developers directly. Who can blame them with so many great consumer apps to talk
So let's
about?
talk about what's new in the platform. With the N release, we wanted to achieve a new level of product excellence. So we set about redesigning and rewriting many fundamental aspects of how the system works. Now, a lot of the features in N were inspired by users, how they use their phones, what they've told us, and how we think we can make their day-to-day experience better and more useful. This year, we decided to do something a little different by releasing early developer previews of the N release before Google I/O. We want to share our work in progress with you as we build it, so we have more time for your feedback. Also, getting the platform out earlier means there's more time for app developers and device makers to be ready for the release later this year. The response to the N developer preview has been overwhelming. Many of you are already developing on the N preview release on a daily basis, and it's just humbling to be part of a project of this scale. So thank you for all of the feedback so far. Now, often one of the hardest parts of creating an Android release is coming up with the name. And I have no idea why, but this year, the N dessert name is proving trickier than all of the others.
Not a lot of N desserts.
So for the first time ever, we're going to be inviting the world to submit their ideas to www.android.com/N.
OSC make OS face. Yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah.
Namey McName face.
we're looking forward to your input, but please don't
Good
call
job,
it
Google.
Namey McName face.
Oh.
I should add that we will reserve the right to pick the winner. All right. In the
much could the
meantime,
Nutella
let's
license
jump
be,
straight
really?
in and talk about some of the biggest changes.
I wonder
in
if they
N
tried to
around
license something, but it
performance,
fell apart.
security, and productivity. Let's
And
start
now
with
they- it
It
performance.
suggests on the page
We've
marshmallow.
improved performance in N in two key areas,
Noogie
graphics
Monster.
and runtime. In recent Android releases, we extended the OpenGL standard to bring advanced graphics capabilities, usually found on desktop and game consoles, to mobile. With N, we're making our biggest leap forward with the introduction of Vulkan. Vulkan is a modern 3D graphics API designed to give game developers direct control of the GPU to produce incredible graphics and compute performance. And we made a concerted effort to work with the industry on Vulkan, so you can use the same APIs
game
and
developers
graphics
about
assets and
Metal, for instance,
shaders
on iOS.
on the desktop
It just totally
as well as mobile.
puts another lobe on their brain.
Because Vulkan has a
Hoping to get
lower
the same frame
CPU
rate.
overhead than OpenGL, game developers are able to squeeze in more effects per frame while still maintaining a high frame rate. Let's take a look at a Nexus 6P running a new version of the Need for Speed game by Electronic Arts. And there are a bunch of really nice improvements in this version, thanks to Vulkan. You'll notice the beautiful graphics and reflections and materials on the car, thanks to physically based rendering. Also check out the realistic motion blur effect, which is computed for every object at the side of the road. And there's a really nice water surface effect on the road. And the shaders for these are pre-compiled ahead of time and can now run anywhere.
That's impressive.
So that's graphics performance. We've also spent a lot of effort working on improving the Android runtime. First, we
not
made
Java.
major
It's
optimizations
not
to our compiler.
Java.
The compiler in N performs anything from 30
don't say
to
the J word.
600% faster on major CPU benchmarks like Drystone. Second, we've added a new just-in-time or JIT compiler. And JIT compilation means that app installs are much faster, 75% faster in N. So now users can get up and running in your apps much more quickly. And also, because JIT is more selective about which methods it compiles, we're also able to reduce the amount of storage needed for app code by a full 50%.
Oh, that's good.
That's really important.
Unlike conventional JIT systems, the Android runtime uses profile-guided optimization to write compiled code to Flash for the next time you run the app. So this improves performance and reduces battery consumption. In summary, the new JIT compiler improves software performance, makes installs faster, and reduces the amount of storage you need for apps on your device. Let's talk about another big area of focus for us, security. We designed Android from the beginning with a multi-layered defense-in-depth security architecture. And Android employs the latest cutting-edge security technologies, things like SE Linux, verified boot integrity, and full disk encryption. With N, we're continuing to strengthen our defenses in 3 key ways. First, N introduces file-based encryption. By encrypting at the file level instead of the block level, we're able to better isolate and protect individual users of the system. Second, we learned the importance last year of hardening the security of the media framework, especially since it's accessed
the stage fright, of course,
on the internet.
Problem.
So in N, we've split out key subsystems into individual SE Linux protected processes, things like codecs and file extractors.
Had several vulnerabilities
By improving the security
in
of the media framework,
version.
we improve the security of the entire device. Third, and this is something that's really cool, N automatically keeps your phone up to date with the latest version of the system software without you having to do anything. Like Chromebooks, new Android devices built on N have two system images. So when an update is available, your phone will automatically download the new system image in the background. So the next time you power up your phone, it will seamlessly switch into the new software image. You're no longer asked for your password when the phone powers up, thanks to file-based encryption and a new feature called Direct Boot. And that pesky Android is upgrading dialog is finally
that thing drives me
gone,
crazy.
thanks to the new JIT compiler.
Hallelujah.
just got an hour of my life back.
Yeah.
I think the best feeling in the software industry is actually deleting code, by the way. All right. This approach to software updates is one of the most loved features of Chromebooks, and I'm really excited to bring it to
this is
mobile
essentially what Chromebooks do.
So that's some of the ways we're
require
improving
a restart,
security
but
mechanisms in the platform.
It's all done behind
But
the
let's
scenes.
not forget about all of the security services that Google provides to keep all Android devices safe. In fact,
I wonder
when
if
you think
seamless
about the
updates will
scale
happen
of
on
Android and
non-Nexus
Google Play
devices, though.
and the number of
carriers
devices and apps out
screw
there,
with it?
we're
I
providing
wonder if
one
it's
of
a
the
new
most
infrastructure so that
comprehensive
non-Nexus
mobile
devices can
security
get those
solutions
updates a lot
in the
faster.
world.
Yeah, that would be.
That seems a lot more likely.
That's what they've been moving towards with the security
Google Chrome
updates, for instance.
protects users
So it's
when
But it's
possibly
still
an
going to be
extension of
up to
that.
the manufacturers to release those updates. Google's not going to be able to do
They
it.
can't because of the skins.
Ahead of time,
Right.
when they're about to go to a site.
Well, even that, they've been third parties been moving away from reskinning and more towards.
Today,
Let's just take the free wonderfulness.
This will be a compelling reason to get a Nexus phone. I mean,
Another
that's always been
example
the
of how we
case.
protect users.
You still have
is through
Samsung
the
and,
Google Play Store.
LG and those companies getting
All
code
Android
from the
apps
silicon
undergo
manufacturers,
rigorous
Qualcomm and
security
that kind of stuff, and
testing
that's not
before
They
that
have
has
to
to be
roll those
applied
in.
separately.
Yeah.
We review every app to make sure it meets our policies. We also run an app security improvement program with developers to identify potential security vulnerabilities. For example, we've worked with key banking and e-commerce applications to ensure they're using HTTPS properly to protect against man-in-the-middle attacks. Google Play itself is built on a state-of-the-art cloud-based infrastructure we call SafetyNet. With SafetyNet, Google's expert systems and machine learning models analyze billions of signals every day to predict bad behavior. If an app steps out of line, Google Play will block or uninstall the app no matter where it was installed from. And the scale of SafetyNet is extraordinary. Every day, we test over 1 billion devices and over 8 billion installed apps.
You're watching our
All of
live
this
coverage
happens under
of
the
the
hood
Google
to keep
I/O
you safe and
Developer
secure,
Conference
no
kicking
matter
off
what
at Shoreline
version of
Amphitheater
app you're on.
today.
Let's move on.
Andy
A third
Ihnatko
area of
joining
focus
us,
for us
along
is
with Russell
our
Holly from
continued
Android
effort to
Central,
improve productivity.
and Ron
And
Richards
we've taken a
from All
close
About
look at how
Android.
people multitask on Android to understand what's working for them and where we can improve. And we've particularly focused on the recent app screen. And what we learned from our user research is that over 99% of the time, people only select an app within the last 7. So we decided to simplify by automatically removing apps in the list that you haven't used in a while.
This is Dave Burke
This then makes it
talking
much
about
easier to
the
find
new
the app
features
that
of
you're
Android
looking for.
N.
Also, based on popular demand, we finally added a clear all button at the top.
That's another
This is
one.
carriers have, manufacturers have been putting those in their skins, but Google's always
is
eschewed
something
that.
that we call Quick Switch. You can now flip to the previous app you're in just by double tapping the recent button from anywhere. You can think of it like a
That's a nice
simplified
feature, by the way. I
Alt-Tab.
use that a lot.
And it's amazingly useful in so many situations. For example, let's say I'm in a phone call and I'm trying to coordinate
Let's say that you're running
an event.
Android on a laptop.
I can flip over to the calendar app I was just in by double tapping the recents button at the bottom right. From there, I can check my schedule and then flip back to the dialer by double tapping the recents button again. It's pretty cool. Now, many of you have also asked for the ability to display more than one app at the same time. So we've invested a lot of effort in redesigning our window management framework in N. And we're introducing 2 powerful new windowing modes in this release, split screen and picture-in-picture. Split screen is designed for tablets and phones, and it's really simple to use. So for example, let's say I'm watching a video on YouTube to learn how to make the best nachos. I can long tap on the Recents button to enter multi-window, and from there launch something like Google Keep, for example. Now I can update my shopping list for ingredients while I'm watching the video.
They did talk about this in
The second
December.
mode, picture-in-picture, is designed for Android TV. And it's a great way to let you
And even now,
watch
in
something
preview,
while you
it works so
perform
well.
another task.
Yeah, on a
example,
Pixel
let's
C,
say I'm
you get the
watching
real,
a
you need the
program
screen real estate to take advantage of
And
it.
they're talking about Pac-Man.
I'm
and I want to see
really,
if I can
really
install
very
Play
hot
the
for
game
an
myself.
Android tablet.
I can
Yeah.
put the live
Now,
content
a
into
large one.
picture mode to keep watching it, and then go ahead
I love my
and
iPad
perform a
Pro,
voice search
but
for
I would love
Pac-Man.
it if I had a
This will then
mouse,
give
for
me an
instance.
option to install the game from the Play Store.
Pixel C
all
is
at the
so
same time as
close.
watching the content. It's pretty cool.
It's a little bit of a disappointment. The hardware's so good.
Notifications is another area we've worked
Sometimes
on.
you do see a company will announce a
Android.
product that looks
And it
kind of
turns out that
okay,
today,
but
over
it will
half
look
of the
great once an
notifications
unannounced
shown on
piece of
Android
software
Right.
is
from
actually
messaging
released.
applications.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened.
So we decided to make some changes to really optimize for this use case. We've added a new direct reply feature, which lets you quickly reply to a message like so.
This is
You
another
no
case
longer
of
need to
third-party
launch
apps
the
have been
app to
doing this,
fire
and
off
now they're
a
adopting it.
response. So it's a
Yeah.
real time saver.
The rolled up
We've
notifications
also
in
added
N
a feature
are,
to give you
I
more
have
control
a
over
mixed feelings about it.
notifications.
Some
With
people
N,
like them.
You can long tap a notification to change its visibility.
It takes some
For
learning
example,
to get used to.
You can block
how to
notifications
use it.
from a given app or set them to show only silently. So now you're able to
just
choose
like in
which,
Android Wear. I
which
love how that works.
notifications are important for you. One other area we've worked on to improve your productivity in Android is your ability to express yourself with emoji. And Android is the first mobile platform to support the new Unicode 9 emoji standard. And with this addition are more human-looking glyphs and support for skin tone variations.
Avocado.
Unicode 9 also brings 72 new emoji glyphs. So now you can let your friends know, for example, when you're dancing like the left shark while juggling and eating avocado toast in order to win first prize in that selfie contest.
Oh, we have a selfie emoji.
Seriously, we're really
babies aren't
committed to
holding an
this
apple emoji,
space.
apparently.
We're
I think that's how people are going to use it.
Unicode Consortium on the next generation of
David Bowie
emoji.
one in the middle there?
In particular, you may have seen some of our suggestions
Wow.
around better
Also,
representing
women in
in professional
professional
roles. So thank you for all the support for that so far.
Thanks to John Oliver for. I'm sorry, no, it was Colbert that's
all right,
showed us
let's
that
wrap
first.
up. Android N is the best version of Android yet. I have to say that. But it's actually true. We've made it faster and more performant
they've got
with the
electrodes on
powerful
me.
new JIT compiler and Vulkan 3D graphics.
My watch will
We're
explode.
continuing to harden our security and
Time to
provide
go
the
to
first
carousel.
truly seamless software update system for mobile. And we're making users more productive with better multitasking, brand new multi-window support, and improved notifications. In fact, there are over 250 major new features in N. Everything from Java 8 language support with lambdas to data saver, setting suggestions, and much more.
Everybody such a long
You can
head
check out
start
the
on-
What's New
I
in
think I'm
Android session
developing
later today to learn
apps for this,
even more.
and also having feedback
We're
on how
still
well it
putting the
works.
final touches on the N release.
That's like
and we
3
expect to
months that
launch
they
it
used to just
later
give
this
away for
summer.
free.
But if you can't wait until then, I'm happy today to announce that we're publishing our first beta quality release candidate for you to try out on your main phone or tablet.
I am definitely installing this today.
Yep.
Not on my main phone, but I'm
You'll be able
finding a
to
phone
opt
to,
into
and
the
I
new
never
beta
do that.
program at www.android.com.
It's been pretty stable. In fact, the only issues I've had have been
on your Nexus 6,
complaints
9,
from
5X, 6P,
third-party
Nexus
apps
Player,
that are
and
missing
Pixel C.
libraries. Or
Now, there's one more area in N that we've been working hard on that we haven't talked about yet. And to tell you more about what it is and how it fits into our bigger plans, let me invite up Clay Bavor. Thank you.
Kind of wish we'd seen more than one woman on stage so far. This is.
Thank you, Dave. I'm Clay Bavor, and I lead the virtual reality team at Google.
Here we go.
I'm actually
and yeah,
in
just to
Omaha
get
right now.
to it, virtual reality is coming to Android N.
Fully integrated on
So
the
it all
OS
actually
level.
started at a Google I/O 2 years ago with Cardboard. And since then,
Not
Cardboard
laughing
has
now,
done
are
some
you?
pretty amazing things. There are millions of them out there in the world, in all shapes and sizes. We've enabled thousands of developers to build their first VR app. And users have installed over 50 million Cardboard-enabled apps. We think that's pretty good for what is, after all, just a piece of cardboard. Now, we love Cardboard, and for us, it represents so much of what we think VR should be about. It should be mobile. It should be approachable. It should be for everyone. But we knew it was just a start because there's a limit to how much you can do, how immersive an experience you can create with some cardboard and with phones that were really only meant to be phones. We wanted to create something that has the best attributes of cardboard, but which is also comfortable, richly interactive, and far more immersive. But to
it's a
create
separate
that
headset
kind
you
of
plug into your
immersion,
phone.
you have to solve to make your brain
standalone
say,
knots.
yep, I'm somewhere else. You have to solve a lot of really hard problems across all parts of the VR experience. You have to design a system that's capable of rendering at very high frame rate and resolution. To make the experience really comfortable, you have to minimize what's called motion to photon latency. That's the delay between when you move your head and when the picture updates to reflect that motion. And you need to solve for how you interact with things in VR. And when you nail those things, it just feels like you're there. Well, we've been working on these problems and more. And now what we've built won't be available until this fall, but we'd like to introduce you to it today. We call it Daydream.
Oh,
Daydream is our platform for high-quality mobile virtual reality, and in it
They're
are
already
all
using
of the
that name,
ingredients you
aren't
need
they,
to
for
create
the
incredible
screensavers
immersive
you get while you're
experiences.
powering?
Now, over time, Daydream will encompass VR devices in many shapes and sizes. But today is about how Daydream will enable high-quality VR on Android smartphones. And there are 3 parts to it. The smartphones themselves, including VR optimizations to Android N, a reference design for a headset and a controller, and apps, both how you get them through Google Play and the apps themselves. We've designed and built each part in concert with the others, with a focus on getting the end-to-end user experience just right. So let's start with smartphones. Now, the first thing we did was look at what it takes to build a smartphone that's great at being a smartphone, but also at being the core of a VR system. And with input from the major silicon vendors and smartphone manufacturers, we've created a set of phone specifications for VR. We call phones that meet these specs Daydream ready. And the specs include things like high-performance sensors for accurate head tracking, displays with a fast response time to minimize blur, and powerful mobile processors. And if a phone meets these specs, it'll be capable of delivering a great VR experience. But the smartphone itself, it's only part of the story. The operating system, the software, it needs to be able to make use of all of these capabilities, all while keeping latency to an absolute minimum. So we've introduced what we call VR mode as part of Android N. We've worked at all levels of the Android stack to optimize it for VR. And we focused in particular on performance and latency, which we've brought down to under 20 milliseconds.
Nice.
By adding things like single buffer rendering and VR system UI, so notifications and alerts come through properly in VR. And all of this makes for a really comfortable VR experience that we think.
I want to see this experience. I want to see notifications come up in a physical window shade.
Are part of the core of Android N. So the
make
entire
it a wear all day
ecosystem
sort of thing, as opposed to
what that means for developers is there are going to be a lot of Daydream-ready phones.
Anything that's better than what they do for the Gear VR right now.
Asus, Huawei, HTC, LG, Xiaomi, and ZTE.
Good on Samsung.
All will have smartphones that are compatible with the Daydream-ready spec, and several will be available this fall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's also the same sort of problem with smartwatches.
So that's phones.
They don't know what people want.
Daydream-ready phone specs
Right?
and
Have to
VR
show it to them and
optimizations
find
as
out
part
what they
of
stick their
Android
tongues
N.
out at.
Let's turn to headsets. Now, this is obvious, but a VR headset, it's something that you wear on your head. And because it's something that you wear, there's so many things you need to get just right. It has to have great optics.
You can put on your butt.
It has to be comfortable. The materials need to feel good, and it needs to be really easy to put on and take off.
Virtual rumps.
We've taken what we've learned in all of these areas, and we've created a reference design for headsets that will work seamlessly with Daydream-ready phones. We're sharing this design with partners across the ecosystem, and there will be several of them coming to market with the first available this fall. Now, when it comes to VR, everyone thinks about headsets. But the controller, how you interact with VR, it's just as important. We wanted to create a controller that's optimized for VR, that's both powerful and intuitive. And so we've been working on a controller for Daydream. It looks like this. And if we actually zoom in a little bit,
like a little remote.
You can see the controller itself is very simple. There are a few buttons and a clickable touch.
Honey.
Oh my God, I got a plus.
But hidden
it's a minus and a circle.
Controller is the magic. We've built an orientation
That's
track
because
so it knows
if you do
where
this,
it's
you'll
pointing,
never
how
get
it's
pregnant.
turning. You can do some
it's
pretty
a
awesome
gesture
things with it.
controller.
Let's have a look.
It orients itself in space.
So Wiimote.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
Oh, Eve Gunjack next.
If you're just tuning in for Windows Weekly, we are going to delay Windows Weekly till the end of this keynote. You're watching Google I/O 2016 coverage. The Android VR we've been hearing about is being demonstrated right now. Windows Weekly probably around noon today.
Such a natural fit for another Angry Birds plug. What a missed opportunity. They'll never have a Google Cinematic Universe unless they understand synergy.
This makes sense. You know, the Oculus Rift only has a standard kind of console-style controller, and it's really not right for the device. The Vive, they're much more like that, although with more buttons.
So, As you can see, the controller, it's super flexible.
PlayStation's just using a move.
We've shared it with absolutely love it. Now, the controller, too, will be part of the reference design that we're sharing with partners, with the first available this fall. Okay, so we've talked about smartphones and operating systems, headsets and controllers, but ultimately, that's not what VR is about. It's about what you can experience. So let's turn to apps, what you can do in VR. Now, first, if you're a developer, you know that there's a lot upstream from someone using your app or playing your game. Users have to find it in a store, buy it, install it, launch it. Well, this will all work seamlessly in Daydream. And that's because we've built Google Play for VR. Users will be able to browse and search and buy and install VR apps in VR. And once you've installed an app,
that just makes
you
sense.
Keep coming back.
Yeah, it looks just like Android TV too.
Home,
So
which gives you access to all of
You
your
can't
favorite
keep putting the
games
hands
and apps.
on and off to look at
Let's actually
previews.
talk about some of those.
This
apps,
is similar to
the
Gear
things you
VR,
can
though,
do
right?
and the
I mean,
places you can go.
They have a store. And
Our partners like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and
very
CNN
similar
are
setup.
bringing their VR apps to Daydream, so you'll be able to experience the world's news like you're actually there.
Netflix,
Hulu,
HBO now.
Netflix,
I don't think HBO Now's
even
out for the Gear VR
IMAX
yet.
are bringing their libraries to Daydream. So
Hulu
you'll be
is,
able to watch
Netflix
shows
is.
and movies in a virtual cinema or an
This is the
immersive
only really good
3D
way to
film in a
serve 3D
virtual
video,
IMAX
too.
theater. Here's a shot from
No
just
one wants to
one
buy a
of the
TV,
dozens of
but they
IMAX
might
films,
buy a
that will be
headset.
available. And you know, I don't know about you, but I am pretty fired up about hanging out with astronauts in VR. So something else that's going to be awesome in Daydream is games. We've been working with the likes of Ubisoft and CCP, NetEase, and Electronic Arts. And these amazing developers are creating games that take advantage of all that
on
we've
his
talked about.
Christmas
And there are some
vacation,
really
converted a
neat
5K
things in the
iMac
works.
into a picture frame he hangs on his wall with a
we've also
wooden
been
frame
working
and
on some of our own
rotating
apps.
artworks.
Google Play Movies is coming to Daydream, complete with high-definition DRM video support. That means you'll be able to watch movies and TV shows from Play.
That's actually pretty big. I love the Oculus Cinema app.
Street View is coming
I was
to
surprised at
Daydream.
how much
So you'll
time
be
I
able to
want to
walk
spend
the
time
streets
looking
of
at
the world,
what looks like a
without
full-size
having to
movie
fly
screen, even if
around
it's
the
flat.
world. And Google
That could be
Photos
really
will
big.
support VR photos, so you can step inside and relive favorite moments. And
God,
there's one
imagine
more.
Street View. Have they been mastering in 3D, or can they calculate 3D from all the
From the
pictures?
ground up for
Both.
VR.
They actually have a separate app for capturing in VR
Is
right now.
voice search.
Is this the
Discover
Tango,
your
Project
favorite
Tango
playlist.
stuff? Or?
Again, all in VR.
No, it's called
You have
Cardboard
spatial
Camera.
Audio, improved
Oh, yeah, I have
VR
one of
video
those, yeah.
streaming, so you'll be able to
I mean, I
step
have that on
inside
app.
the world's largest collection of VR videos and experience places and concerts and events like you're
Although, of
actually
course, Project
there.
Tango would
And
support
by the
this
way,
as
you'll
well.
also be able to watch every single standard video currently on YouTube, but in a very different way. And we think people are going to love it. So that's Daydream, our platform for high-quality mobile virtual reality. Daydream-ready smartphones with VR optimizations as part of Android N, a comfortable headset, and a powerful, intuitive controller, and some amazing apps and experiences.
Nothing
All
they can
designed
talk about
in
but not show.
concert
Not
and
disappointing,
open
but
and at the scale of Android.
I think there are a lot of
Now,
people in that
Daydream arrives
audience who
this
thought
fall.
they'd be flying home with
Get
something strapped to
started
their faces.
Yeah,
developing for it
standalone
today with
Android
the
VR.
latest Android developer preview.
I mean, this guy's blog is
We'll go into
amazing.
that
He's also
and
done
more
a
tomorrow here
Abraham
at
Lincoln
9
in
a.m.
pennies.
So that's it for VR and Android. To tell you about wearables and Android, I'd like to turn it over to David Singleton. Thanks.
Now we get to hear about Android Wear.
So that's it on VR. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty big, but I thought it would be
Not the
more.
not the big deal we thought it'd be.
Well, they need
All
help.
It's really their
built
version of Gear
Android
VR.
Wear at I/O
Well,
2
and it
years
requires
ago.
Android N to work.
And
Yep.
since then, we've partnered with 12 brands to pair distinctive styles with the latest in wearable technology.
Didn't think we'd hear about
And the
Wear.
result is an impressive collection of over 100 different beautiful designs.
This is a big
So whether
success.
you admire
Maybe they're not selling
the
as much as Apple
heritage
Watch,
of
but
Ty
they've got
Boyer
lots of
or the
people
iconic
coming on
design
board
of Michael
happily.
Kors, spend
That's
your
a real
time
success.
hiking a trail
And
or
like
riding a
real,
wave.
I mean, look at
You
these
can wear
names.
what
These are
you
real
want.
names in the watch area.
Android
That
Wear
clearly they're
works
adopting
with
it for a reason.
Android
And also
iPhones,
think about all the
because
ways
no
that
matter
all the
what
stuff they
phone
talked
you
about
carry in
earlier
your
on can
pocket,
work through a
you should
wearable.
always be
This
able to
could be a
wear
cool
what you
demo.
want on your wrist. And today, I'm sharing a preview of our biggest platform update yet, Android Wear 2.0. Over the past 2 years, we've learned a lot about what people want and don't want from a watch. We know that the most important role of your watch is helping you stay connected to what matters, to important, timely information, to the people you love, and to your health, all from your wrist. And that's why we're evolving the platform to build even better experiences for the watch face, messaging, and fitness. Android Wear already has thousands of watch faces you can download. And now we're making them even more useful by letting any watch face show data from any app.
Yay.
So now you can mix and match the styles you love with the information that's most useful to you.
So you can do
Let's
a watch
take
face
look.
as a platform now.
Jeff Chang from the Wear team has the newest LG watch with LTE. And here you can see a watch face from Zuhanden. Jeff has customized it with his calorie count
Jeff
from
is wearing the
LifeSum,
Zuhanden watch.
stock information from Robinhood,
Customized.
and his tasks from Todoist.
That's cool.
If he wants to see other tasks for today, he simply taps right there on the watch face and sees a reminder to call mom.
That's a nice feature. They've been kind of moving in that direction.
To connect
Like
us
complications
to those
on
people we
Apple
love.
Watch, but
You'll
looks like
never
it's done
miss a
really
call
much
from your
better.
child's school
And an open platform.
or a message from a close friend. And that's why we're redesigning key experiences on the watch to be even more intuitive.
Faces always look
and
better
enabling new ways to
on
respond
camera
to
and
messages
images
designed
than they do on
just
your
for
wrist,
your wrist.
unfortunately.
Sure. I
This
mean, display
includes Smart
resolution is
Reply
still-
that knows the context of your message.
Yep, Smart Reply, see?
Best-in-class handwriting recognition, and a new keyboard, all powered by Google's machine learning.
No one wants a keyboard on a watch.
Well, but again,
Somebody must.
You don't want to talk on the
taps to
subway.
reply,
You might not want to pick out your
handwriting
phone.
input,
And a lot of these
and now
devices
he
are going to be
uses his
standalone
finger
from
to
now
sketch
on.
big letters on
Yeah,
the watch.
This
I
isn't
don't
like
wanna
they're
draw with
shipping
my
a watch
pinky
that
either.
insists that, yeah.
And
Well,
now
it
she
doesn't
knows
insist that this is going to be the only watch you can buy, like an Apple Watch. This is, if someone wants to do this, here it is. If you don't want to do this, go ahead and
I guess the
forget that it
handwriting
exists.
thing might actually.
Handwriting's all right, yeah.
Yeah.
I need a stylus,
If
though.
you want your watch
Right.
to be like a personal coach,
It's turning into a
helping you
Casio.
stay
You know
aware,
that.
motivated, and connected
Google's
to your
watch
body.
does handwriting recognition, but
First,
Apple's
we're improving
$1,000
the fitness
tablet does not.
experience with Google Fit Platform's automatic activity recognition. Second, your apps can exchange data using the Google Fit API. So information like calories consumed in a nutrition app can sync with calories burned in a running app. And finally, we're expanding the ways you can enjoy listening to music while you work out, even when you leave your phone behind. When you want to go for a run, you can just go.
So will this be a
with
new
the watch
hardware
you're already
platform,
wearing.
or
No need to
so far
strap your
everything we've
phone
seen
in
can
an
be
awkward
probably done on
armband.
existing hardware. In
And
fact, it
thanks
is
to the
being
hardware
done
sensors
on
on
the
your
LG.
watch and automatic activity recognition, apps like Strava will start tracking your time and distance when you start running. And if you enjoy music while working out, you can launch Spotify right from your watch face.
Many of the watches have 4 gigs of storage for music.
Yeah, I think they all do. It's a,
Yeah.
And the best part of all of
Part of
this,
the spec,
you
yeah.
don't even need a phone. In fact, when Jeff was
That's
showing
the
me
LTE
demos, his phone was turned
requirement.
off.
Wow. But you'd have to have a watch with LTE built in.
and the one watch
And
with LTE
everything
is
you
just
saw
a
here today,
colossal
from sending
monster on
messages
it.
to streaming
It's so
music,
giant.
works
You don't really
on just
want that,
his
yeah.
watch. With Android Wear 2.0, apps can be standalone. That means the apps on your watch can have direct network access to the cloud via Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or a cellular connection. And that means a fast and richer on-watch app experience for both Android and iPhone users. With standalone apps, watches with cellular support become even more powerful. You'll be able to
Remember,
make
that was a
calls,
big complaint
get
about a lot
help
of
from
things
Google,
that
and use your favorite
you need
apps
support
right
from
on
a
the
phone
watch,
to
no matter
make things
where your
happen.
phone is or even if it's on or off.
The question is the watch a
Starting
standalone device
today,
or an adjunct for your phone?
developers can download
Well,
a preview
there are times
of
where you'd
Android
like,
Wear
again, you're out
2.0,
exercising, you don't necessarily
and
want to bring
everyone
a phone.
will be able to enjoy these exciting new watch experiences
Or
in the
I'm
phone.
at the theater, I don't even want the temptation of diving
for
into my
us to
phone, but I still
reimagine
want to
what's
get
possible for
texts and
wearables
interact
together.
with
We
messaging.
can't wait to see the incredible
So fall
things.
availability
Babysitter.
for the final release.
And
although
now,
developers can get
here's
a
one
beta.
example from the wider Android developer community.
You're watching Google I/O 2016 coverage. Windows Weekly coming up at the end of this. Our sponsor, Braintree. If you're a mobile developer, you know you want to have Braintree because you want to have a payment platform that'll take all kinds of payments, including Android Wear and Apple Pay and credit cards, and from everything from pounds to PayPal. And it's so easy. Just 10 lines of code. You can integrate it instantly. And it's secure. And you know why? I can tell you, you're going to love it because you're already using it with Uber and Lyft and Airbnb and Hotels Tonight. They all use Braintree payments, even Pinterest with its contextual payments, its buyable pins system. I want you to try Braintree. Go to braintreepayments.com/twit. Play in the sandbox. It works with Android, iOS, and JavaScript, .NET, or Node.js, Java, Perl, PHP, Python, Ruby. BraintreePayments.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support of our live coverage of Google I/O. We return to the commercial for Android Wear.
This commercial was a Syrian refugee who was in Turkey who was using.
It's kind of cool.
Developing for Android.
That's actually yeah. All right, I'm sorry I stepped on it.
Hi, I'm Jason Titus, and I lead our developer product group here at Google. And as you can see, software developers are changing our world in a big way. In fact, it's hard to find an aspect of our lives that hasn't been touched.
This guy came from Shazam.
To how we get around, to how we meet people.
And is now really, I think, a developer evangelist. He was CTO at Shazam.
Technologies
before that at Yahoo, where he did Mail, Messenger, and
despite
PIM.
all of the innovation that has already occurred, the opportunities ahead are greater still. But it's really hard to go from an idea to building a great product,
Came to Yahoo from
to getting it in
Postini,
users' hands.
which is a great product.
So I'd like to share some of the things that we've been doing over the last year to make this process easier on any platform. Let's start with the web.
This is all, of course, the pitch to developers here.
Yeah, this is the developers conference.
Is well underway. With over,
all right, I'm going to make my exit now.
Thank you, Ron XO. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Richards from All About Android. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Thanks.
Are you excited? What's your number one feature?
I'm excited. I think the home device is the one that I'm the most excited about. I want to see more about that. So, yeah.
Thanks, Ron. We'll see you on Tuesday on All About Android.
See you, Russell. See you.
Actually,
Andy.
that's later today.
See
you. No, it was yesterday, 5 p.m. Don't know what day it is.
Networking connection.
We will do a special version of Twig with Gina Trapani, Jeff Jarvis, Jason Howell, 2 p.m. We're expecting 2 p.m.
Because they
Pacific,
get
5 p.m.
progressively
Eastern.
better depending on the capability of the web browsers. And they can lead to dramatically better user experiences. Second, we created an open source project called Accelerated Mobile Pages, or AMP, to make it simple to create extremely fast mobile websites using existing web standards. On
Does it
average,
seem weird that
AMP
Google
pages
didn't lead with the developer pitch?
4 times faster.
Yeah.
Use 1/10 of
well,
data.
unlike a lot of companies, Google doesn't have a lot of venues for this. Apple has several events a year. This is Google's only event.
But also, the civilians are going to tune in for the first 20 minutes for sure, and then they're going to start to drift off.
Right.
Yeah. The developers are in here, and people like us are in here for good. So, but boy, did civilians get an earful. That's like anybody who is thinking about buying an iPhone in the next month might be putting that off.
I work on the
Just in
Android
case.
team. Android Studio is our official IDE. It's purpose-built for Android.
So
and
they're
it
going
was
to talk
only
about
3 years ago,
the new
right
Android
here at
Studio,
I/O,
relatively
that we
new
showed
Android
it
Studio,
for the
which
first
has
time.
replaced Eclipse
Since
for
then,
Android
it
development.
has built
Most
a
people are using that by now.
of momentum.
Based on the IntelliJ platform.
92% of the top 125 apps and games now use Android Studio, and millions of developers worldwide. Our Android engineering team sees that almost all the professional developers that we connect with have used it and switched over from our Eclipse tools. Your feedback has been awesome because it's helped us focus on the right things. We care a lot about making it great, and there's much more to come. This morning, we'll release our latest, which is Android Studio's 2.2 preview, focusing on speed, smarts, and Android platform support. First, speed. Already with 2.1,
So
we
earlier
made
today,
changes
at the beginning of the keynote, Sundar Pichai
than
talked
it was
about
only 6 months ago.
the overarching
Our new Instant Run feature
artificial intelligence platform, the Google Assistant,
directly into the running
which has conversational understanding, has become, of course, the thing you talk to with OK Google. They then showed a device called Google Home, which is a shrunk Amazon Echo or On Hub with many of the same features as the Echo,
one of the things that you told
and then some, including Chromecast support, Chromecast audio and video support.
So with 2.2, we're going to
followed that up with a look at Google Photos, and then announced 2 new Android apps, actually Android and iOS apps, Allo and Duo. Allo is a smart messaging app with some Google intelligence built in. Duo, a video calling app.
We'll record, we'll write all of your espresso
Now we're
test
hearing
code
about
for you.
development platform.
It's basically as if
I think you have a lot of Android Studio users there. We're happy to hear about the updates.
it's as if you had handwritten the code yourself, and you can run those tests locally, or you can run them with our IDE integrated
Apple used to
cloud
have
test
something
lab to make sure your
in
app
the early
runs
days
well
of the Mac
on
called
many
Monkey
Android
Mode.
devices. Now, one of the things the engineering team is most
just
excited
kind of
about
bash
is
on
that
the
with
app
2.2, you're going to be able to build
in an
layouts
automated
faster,
fashion. I think
and
we've come a
they'll
long
run
way
faster
since
too.
Monkey
So let me
Mode.
show you this. 2.2 includes a rewritten, feature-rich layout designer with new constraint layouts. So what you're going to see here is you'll be able to use the layout window. It's almost like a sheet of paper. So you can position your widgets, and once you're happy, you'll see here we save you a ton of time because we're going to automatically add all the constraints for you. Doing a bunch
looks
of
very similar to
actually
AppleScript
very cool
Studio.
math under the covers.
Years
You'll
old.
see the UI here is now going to adapt, so you can try
But
it
not
on
sophisticated
different
in Android
devices.
development.
You mean
software.
Xcode kind of? Or?
No, well, not even.
what you can't see
I think
is
AppleScript
behind
Studio
the
was even
scenes,
pre.
your
No,
app
no, that
will
was
run faster
Xcode.
too.
Good. So Jason's just showing me the Pixel C, and the new beta of the Android N has just been pushed to his Pixel C. I forgot to bring my 6P with me, but I imagine that's the same.
There is no
So if you were excited about the new N features, download your update.
I still have a loaner 6P from Google, and that's today that's going to get wiped, and that's becoming a developer.
I don't think they'd mind if you put N on it, Andy.
I think that that's it's meant to be more than something that's in that drawer for research purposes.
It's version NPD 35K for the Pixel C, about 460 megabytes. I don't know if it's the same for
This is really useful
6P, but it's nice. It's an OTA update.
Boy, I'm just glad I don't have to type for the next last 5 or 10 minutes. A lot to write down. This is so impressive.
Ton of stuff.
I can't wait to write my coverage tonight. It's definitely going to be taken overnight because there's so much to think about.
To the 260 that are already there, all designed to eliminate
a consumer device, take it out of the box, put it on a shelf, and it will do amazing things. New messaging stuff that will make the thing that people use the phones for the most quick, simple, and near magical. Brand new VR stuff, and they're in the best position to deliver content, not because it's not just coming from Hollywood. It's going to be coming from tourists who are in interesting places and people who are incentivized to create their own videos. This could be pretty big, even if they're not showing, even if they don't have actual hardware, they can do live demos of a lot today. That's a lot of really interesting promise. I really think that if there's anybody who was thinking about who's got a new iPhone on the schedule for the next couple of months, they're not switching, but they're thinking maybe I'm going to wait at least until the fall, and then maybe I'm going to see what each of these things can do, because they've been showing off things that are immediately impressive.
We talk a lot about Apple and how Apple takes existing stuff and then makes it better. Google's taken a page from the Apple playbook here. We always used to think that you had an advantage to be the first mover in any space, and I actually never thought that was the case. The person who comes in second with a better product often will win. And so in this case, Google, I think, had an advantage sitting back and watching what Facebook did with Messenger bots and then improving on it.
Well, let's not give them that much credit. They got their butt smoked by.
Yeah, they did.
They tried and failed to do 2 or 3 different things that were just not on the mark.
We wondered for a long time what they were going to respond, how Amazon could do the Echo and beat everybody else to the game. And I think Google sat back and made something that arguably might be better.
I wonder if there's going to be a software update to their hub. It was always. Oh, I don't think it has a microphone, does it?
It does have a microphone, but it's not turned on.
It always seemed to me that was. I know you're not terribly impressed with our Wi-Fi base station. We can't say anything, but maybe you want to have one on your desktop in 2016 or in your living room.
Well, I think now you can look and see what they're doing with the home, and I think you can say, "Gee, I think the hub." Not unusual for Google to do this. Remember the Google Q? Oh, we really thought this was a good idea at the time. Maybe now we got a more refined thing. And sorry about the hub.
Earn money.
Yeah.
This is the biggest, most comprehensive development.
They have done a lot of stuff that they talk about it and then they realize that nobody cares and then they stop talking about it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of products.
They're very good at that.
Firebase
Yeah.
Analytics.
Notice no mention of Places, which is an app they pushed just a couple of days ago for the purposes of sharing spaces at Google I/O and has shared conversations. I imagine at the end they might mention it briefly, but
yeah. Well,
I think they've already lost interest.
Well, not lost interest. I think that they've realized that how much stuff they have to deliver.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they have to focus. Everybody does in this business.
Well, and I/O gives them a proof of concept for Spaces because it's a beacon play.
Right.
The whole
that's
deal there
interesting.
for I/O is
Much more about beacons. Yeah.
Right.
Haven't heard. I was kind of expecting them to open up with, at least in video form, here is our self-driving car technology. Because if there's anything that also speaks to, here is what we're doing with machine learning, here's what we're doing with acquiring information from the world.
Well, remember, this is not an Alphabet event. This is a Google event.
Still,
and
yes,
I
that's
think
true.
that we didn't hear much about any. I mean, I was surprised they even mentioned the Nest, but it was very peripheral mention. So
That's
this is the Google event. I don't know if there'll be an Alphabet event.
But again, they're in Mountain View. They can have those cars going in the
Oh, I
streets.
agree.
And
It's a great
it's
opportunity.
outside, so they can just drive all the way up.
Yeah.
Over a dozen other major
Maybe they're saving that for
some highlights.
how they get Harrison Ford onto the stage.
First, there's cloud messaging and notifications.
Yeah, we're going to stay with this, even though, of course, this is very insidery. If you're a developer and you want to know about analytics available to developers, you, of course, can watch the feed live on YouTube. But I think we're taking this opportunity to
And now that it's integrated into
wait and see if they have one more thing, which I doubt they
targeted
will.
notifications to your audiences without writing any code. And
We had a developer, an Android developer in studio yesterday, and all of a sudden, something that I had on my phone for a long time, but never materialized, a beacon happened, and all of a sudden I got a pop-up. What was it called? The physical web? And it just, the physical web, and it just popped up. And we had all forgotten that Google announced this months ago, and a developer who was in our kitchen getting ready for last night's All About Android had it turned on, and all of a sudden, all of us got beaconed on our phones, and we're saying, what is that?
Use it to quickly identify bugs and issues and take action to reduce impact on your users. Another aspect of building a high-quality app is being able to tune and experiment with features. So we've taken the same infrastructure that we use for our own apps and created Firebase Remote Config, which lets you create experiments and test app configurations at scale.
Oh, dear.
Finally,
if that's done without a lot of discipline
dynamic links.
by a developer.
A dynamic link is just a regular URL.
Why is my OK button shaped like a banana? Which end do I peel to reveal the? Sorry, we're doing some A/B testing.
So you can drive
I don't know if we'll see a coda by Larry Page. Where they've been fairly disciplined. They started right on time. They're an hour and 40 in. They said it would be a 2-hour-long keynote. That does leave some time. I don't imagine this part will go on much longer, so that does leave some time for maybe a 15-minute coda from either Sundar Pichai or even Larry Page, the CEO of
each of them
Alphabet,
is
the founder,
interesting on
one of
its
the
own,
founders.
the power of Firebase is in how they're integrated together. Here's a quick example.
There are some questions. In fact, somebody in the chat room, CJ, is saying, will Allo replace Hangouts? You know, I have to think it might. The man they had demonstrating it was a product manager for both Hangouts, is product manager for both Hangouts and Google Fi. And I have a feeling, they've always kind of deprecated the use of Hangouts on Google Fi and saying use our Messenger app instead. And of course, every phone manufacturer has their own Messenger app. There's really a kind of a mess right now. And I think it'd be smart to make Allo be the default Messenger texting app for all of Android.
That would definitely be ideal, I think, just to have it set up like that.
Hangouts has been phased out, and most of the capabilities of Hangouts would be, I would imagine, either an Allo or Duo.
Sessions on Firebase throughout I/O.
They didn't mention multi-user video conferences, however, in Duo. And that's what Hangouts really does best.
Through one easy-to-install SDK across Android, iOS, and the web.
I tweeted out that, gee, I wish there were more women on the
Really interested
stage.
to hear what you think, and we can't
Yeah, I can only imagine what you're getting.
Women on stage? Who cares about gender within other stuff?
Here's Ellie to give you a preview of a new Android effort that we're working on for you.
And here's the third. We've seen Ellie Powers at several keynotes before.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, everybody. I'm Ellie from the Android team, and I'm here with Ficus Kirkpatrick, our engineering director. We hope that Firebase
I
will
thought
make
it was
it
going to be a fig tree for a moment.
all
Okay.
of you to build great apps. And we're also thinking hard
my pillow
about
buddy.
how Android apps should evolve and do more. We'll be showing you a sneak peek of a new project. We think it's going to change how people experience Android apps, and we'll be bringing it to Android users and developers over the next year. Developers like all of you here have built amazing Android apps. They unleash the full power of Android devices, seamlessly combining the camera,
Powers is
sensors,
the lead product
smooth
manager
animations, and more.
of the
But
Google
you've really
Play
told us that you want to be able to bring
system.
users into your apps more quickly. We want to make it easier for users and developers to connect, for users to access a wider range of apps, and for developers to reach more people. With the web, you could just click on a link and land on a web page. That's one click and a few seconds. What if you could run any app with one tap? That's what we're working on. We're evolving Android apps to run instantly, without installation. We call this Android Instant
This is an interesting idea.
Huh.
I wonder if this is kind of like what Robin's doing with their cloud apps.
We're going to share a quick preview of what we've been working on, and I can't tell you how much I've been looking forward
Is
to
it a
this
cloud
moment
install
for a
or
really
these
long
web
time.
apps?
So let's say my friend Michael
It's
sends
like
me
an
this
existing
link
app
to
can also
Tasty
send a
on
slice of
BuzzFeed
itself
Video.
to just
right.
And let's be completely clear. Let's be honest
see that I was
with each
expecting
other.
to see this.
I do not have the
This is
BuzzFeed
more.
Video
This
app
the
installed on
active
my
assistant
phone.
is a lot more useful if
What we're going
apps
to
that are
do
not on the phone
is we're gonna
already know that.
tap
Oh,
the URL,
I know
and
concert
it's gonna
tickets.
take
I know
me
concert
right
tickets here.
into
Yep, tell me.
BuzzFeed Video's
They'd have to.
Android app without installing it.
So she's going to play BuzzFeed video without installing the BuzzFeed app. So he's tapped it in 1001,
What's happening here is
1002.
Google Play is fetching only the
using
pieces
AMP.
of the app that we need right now. There.
So that was pretty fast. You think it's AMP for...
The AMP logo was up in the corner.
It was
after the
interesting.
link was closed.
Because AMP's limited to certain kinds of content.
We are in the Android
So this is
app,
just AMP
and
video
I didn't
content.
even have to install it. It was pretty fast too, right? So here you can see there's a bunch of different videos showing to make a whole bunch of different recipes. And the videos start playing automatically.
Wouldn't recommend you make any
Remember,
of these recipes.
it's a real Android app, right? And I can just swipe and go to the
Unless
next
you
video
like
really quickly.
BuzzFeed cooking.
The app was able to open so fast because it's been split up into modules. When Ficus tapped the link, Google Play downloaded only the code that was
Yeah.
necessary to display this screen.
Kind of just-in-time apps.
And if I want to keep BuzzFeed Video on my home screen, it's simple to install the app right here.
And of course that's why BuzzFeed loves
Here's
it.
another example.
There's a little...
B&H Photo and Video has a beautiful Android app.
Yeah,
but
this is an
I
AMP.
don't
You're
have
right,
it on my
this is
phone
AMP.
because I don't shop for cameras every day. Now, if I'm searching for something specific, like a camera bag, I can still get that same experience. With one tap, the app opens up right to the bag I want to buy. Technically, this is a deep link to the Android activity B&H wrote to display this product page. And that's all Google Play needed to download. I can also swipe here and see more details
What if it
about the
caches
bag.
that and then
Now, when I
it's
add it to my
bit
cart,
by bit slowly
the
build
animation
the app
there,
up?
it was pretty slick. And at checkout time, Android Pay works. Just like if I had the app installed. I don't have to pull out my credit card or type in my name and address. With Android Instant apps, I'm already signed in and I'm ready to pay. And so it's going to take me 2 taps, not 2 minutes. Finally,
You know, this reminds me of something I was talking about some months ago
finally, let's see how Android
with Phil
Instant
Libin, the
apps could help
former
me when I'm out
CEO
and
of
I walk up to a
Evernote, who
parking
said
meter
we're
and I
really
need to
going to see
pay.
the end of the app
I'm in a real
ecosystem.
hurry
These
today, and I
these
don't have
boundaries
time to
between
install a
apps are,
parking
you know,
app.
right now they're
But what if I could
silos.
just tap my
But what
phone,
if you kind of
and with NFC,
made it
it
user-centric
can
and
bring up the
action-centric, and it was not so siloed? And I think this is what you're seeing here.
is choose how long I want to park.
Your phone does what you want it to do. You don't need to install an app to do it.
To his meeting, and even add more parking time later if he really needs to. So that's Android Instant Apps. As a user, it's totally seamless, from launching the app to signing in to making payments. Now, as a developer, you'll update your existing app. It's the same Android APIs, the same project, and the same source code. And it can take less than a day of work, depending on how your app is built. You'll modularize your app, and Google Play will download only the parts that are needed on the fly,
So many of what they're talking about is, oh, why doesn't my phone do that? Sort of
more ways
you
to
see a friend with an Android phone that runs in. Welcome to a parking meter. I don't have the city parking app because I've just arrived in the city.
Instant
It
apps will
download
provide
NFC.
another on-ramp. People can use your instant app
As usual,
download.
depend on how many people embrace this, but it sounds like an easy thing to embrace.
Remember, they talked a lot about
I didn't hear
Allo on Tap
anybody say
last
that this
year.
was end specific.
No, you have to write your app in a more modular fashion,
And
obviously.
they really presented it as something they're working on, and you might be seeing parts of it in the next year.
Yeah.
I keep coming back to, they really made a big push about, hey, look how cool Now on Tap is, and they haven't mentioned it once, and I never really, I'm not in the habit of using it because nobody seems to be supporting it.
Yeah, nobody uses it for anything.
Google proposes, the developers disposes.
You should know that Instant Apps is going to be compatible all the way back to Jelly Bean.
Ah, there you go.
And we really want for all of you to be able to try this.
So
And
that's
we're really going to make it available to
80%
you
of the
just
user
as
base?
soon as we can. But it's a big change in how we think about apps. We want to get it right. And so that's going to take some time for us. We're working now with a small set of developers, and we'll be gradually rolling out Access and actually rolling out Instant Apps to users later this year. We are so excited about all of the opportunities that this
And it
will
really is
open up.
rethinking
And
how
we can't wait to
apps
see
and
what
your phone
you are
work.
going to build when your app is just a tap
And it's
away.
what consumers want, is a
And with
seamless
that, I'll
experience.
hand it back to
I want the
Sundar.
phone to do what I want it to do when I want it to do it.
Yeah, so it'll just your phone will just magically do new things without even having to update to a new operating system.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
Sundar back
Here
again.
comes Sundar.
Firebase is the most comprehensive developer offering we have done till date. I'm glad it's available today and look forward to hearing your feedback. We talked a lot today about machine learning and AI. We think there is an opportunity to accelerate computing by working on this with everyone else. And so we are trying to do that in two ways. First, we are opening up core components of our machine learning systems. Last year, we open sourced TensorFlow so that developers can embed machine learning and deep neural nets with a single API. In 2015, it was the most forked project on GitHub, and it is the #1 machine learning project on that site. Last week, we open sourced a natural language parser, which is also built on top of TensorFlow. We are doing these things so that we can engage the external community and work on this together with everyone. Second, for developers and companies out there, we are also exposing our machine learning capabilities through our Google Cloud Platform. We already have a cloud machine learning platform underway, and you get access to computer vision, speech, language, and translation APIs. And we are working on bringing many more machine learning APIs so that you can get access to the same great capabilities we have inside at Google. We believe this will be one of the biggest differentiators for the Google Cloud Platform over time. And by the way, when you use Google Cloud Platform, you not only get access to the great
I
software
wonder how much of
we
that
use internally,
openness
you get
is to
access
prevent a
specialized
government from saying, we're not going to let your phone into our country because we don't know what your AI is doing. It gives them the opportunity to actually examine the code.
Yeah.
Is incredible. And so we have started building specialized
Well, Google's in a very
custom
unusual
hardware.
position for
We
a
call
company
these
where they don't make money
tensor
on the
processing
products they
units,
offer
or
exactly.
TPUs.
Yeah.
So they can give a
TPUs
lot more
deliver
away. They can be a
an
lot more
order of
open.
magnitude higher performance per watt than all commercially available GPUs and FPGAs. And when you use the Google Cloud Platform, you get you can take
Facebook's
advantage
in a
of
similar
TPUs
position,
as well.
and they've been very open about their
TPUs are
hardware
what
platforms.
powered AlphaGo, DeepMind's AlphaGo, in its game against Lei Sedol. Go is an ancient Chinese board game. There's a simple 19 by 19 grid, but it is one of the most complex games humans have ever designed. It has more possible board configurations, many more possible board configurations than there are atoms in the universe. Beating Go for computers was widely considered to be the grand challenge for AI, and most people thought it wouldn't happen for another decade or so. So we are really thrilled that AlphaGo was able to achieve this milestone recently. One thing worth calling out, in the second game, there was a move 37 by AlphaGo. It changed the course of the game and is now widely considered one of the most beautiful Go moves ever seen in tournament play. It was not just an intuitive move, but a very creative move. We normally don't associate computers with making creative choices. And so to us, this represents a significant achievement in AI. By the way, Lei Sedol has won every single game since he played against AlphaGo, and he has even replayed some of the moves he learned from AlphaGo in that game.
That's what you really want,
capabilities in machine learning and AI
we're learning too.
Progress, we see them becoming very versatile, and we think it applies to a wide range of
machine
fields.
learning is sriracha.
I want to give you two examples.
It is
First,
Google's
robotics.
universal flavor enhancement.
At Google, a bunch of 20%ers decided to help trained robots to pick up objects. You can see it behind me. This is not new. You usually do it by writing control system code. You program the robots with rules. But this time, they decided to use deep learning techniques. So you create a continuous feedback cycle.
Robots killed
so
a few people, but they learned, and
hand-eye
that's what's
coordination
important.
by themselves.
See, oddly enough,
deep
this
learning.
is a problem because a lot of not just governments but institutions will say we love how well your robot sorts objects, but because we don't know what rules it's following,
So for
it's not enough that it just be successful and repeatable. If we don't know why it's doing what it's doing, we can't use your software.
The robot learned it automatically.
Dumb but documented oftentimes wins out over
Interesting.
sophisticated and mysterious.
Yeah. Is that superstition, you think, or is there some sense in that?
There's some sense in that, and sometimes there's some rules to that where, unless it if you're certifying to a client what your process is, you have to assure them that if they will be able to use that process elsewhere. You have that it won't conflict with something else they're doing. So what happens? What happens when the person who's putting those things in those bins changes the shape of the bin or decides to have a new product in there? Can they certify before they commit $1 billion of the product line that this knows how to differentiate that?
Highly trained doctors available in many parts of the world. So we set out to work with a small team of engineers and doctors.
This is a very interesting
and again
product.
used deep learning and started training on eye scans.
Potential product.
And over time, our computer vision systems have gotten really good at detecting diabetic retinopathy early. This is still early, and there's a long road ahead.
Use for,
and we'll work with the medical community to get it in the hands of as many people as possible. But you can see the promise again of using machine learning. When I hear about advancements like these, I'm reminded that we live in an extraordinary period for computing. Whether climate change, healthcare, or education, the most important struggles already have thousands of brilliant and dedicated people working to make progress on issues that affect everyone. Now consider what the best climate change researchers, doctors, or educators can do with the power of machine learning assisting them. As you have seen today, I'm incredibly excited about the progress that we are making with machine learning and AI. We believe that the real test is whether humans can achieve a lot more with the support of AI assisting them. Things previously thought to be impossible may in fact be possible. We look forward to building this future together with all of you. Thank you for joining us at
Sundar
Google I/O.
Pichai wrapping up the keynote 5 minutes early at 11:56. And now the developers who are gathered at the Shoreline Amphitheater, a concert venue, an outdoor concert venue, will get to go to the various seminars in tents in the parking lot.
Foghat is going to be playing soon.
No Foghat, no John Mayer. I don't mind. Although I think you had a good time meeting, was it Dave Grohl that you got to...
Yeah,
we did not hear a single thing about
several
Chrome.
Yeah, so what's missing here? Chrome OS, Play Store on Chrome OS. We didn't see the standalone VR that people were thinking Google would do.
Nothing about the Pixel, nothing about other new hardware.
No new hardware. Zero. And no handouts either.
No, this was all, very much a traditional kind of presentation. It was very interesting.
Not even cardboard. Not even a free piece of cardboard.
Nor did Google reveal what N will stand for. In fact, they punted and said, go to, what was it, android.com/N and vote.
Yeah. I actually bet that they had a name, but they couldn't get it.
You think?
This feels like it's not important that they have a name. They already have a name. It's Android N. It's Android 6. But it feels like it's such a simple thing that they would have done it already. They wouldn't do something as obviously fraught with problems as we're going to let you suggest names so that we can have lots of really stupid names that we're looking at and we can't possibly use. And if we choose a name that we're going to use already, you'll try to say that, hey, we picked it for you.
Jason Howell from All About Android and TNT was in the audience. So was Jeff Jarvis and Father Robert Balaser. They will join us for a special edition of This Week in Google this afternoon, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, right after Windows Weekly. I stand corrected. Of course, they did announce new hardware, but it wasn't anything that anybody could take home, which is the Google Home Hub. And they did talk about hardware reference designs for Android VR. But really, as I mentioned, the product's centered kind of on Google's machine learning platform and artificial intelligence. Google Home is a new home hub, much like Amazon's Echo, but that will use the Google search platform to converse with you, to understand context, and to tie into media and other devices in your house, including, they mentioned Nest and pointed at light bulbs of some kind. I don't know if those are the Hue.
Yeah. It's really interesting that they didn't talk at all about Chromebooks, given how much success they're having in education. Although maybe later on we'll find out that their new system for new instant apps, it seems like it could work great with Chromebooks as well, since it's just a web-based service. Or excuse me, it's not a special operating system someone needs to use. It's simply a standard that will work with anything that works based on Chromium or based on a Chrome browser.
We're getting Jason's showing us the 360-degree version of this. You can watch on YouTube, and you can pivot around and see this. You could have watched this on cardboard. I guess they had 360-degree cameras all over the place.
Actually, Hiroshi Lockheimer just tweeted out that there's a lot to talk about tomorrow at 11 a.m. for Chrome OS.
Oh, crap. Yeah. So we're going to be back tomorrow. I guess we'll have to come back and do it, because I do want to see a Chrome OS. I'm really interested in what they're up to with Chromebooks, and I feel like they've got to be up to something. This is a very successful platform for Google. I didn't expect Android Wear announcements, but they did announce Android Wear 2.0 with some interesting new features, including complications or widgets on the watch face that could work with any app, handwriting recognition. Yeah.
They have to get ahead of WWDC in just a few weeks. If they realize that most people who are not really intensely tech or intensely journalists are going to hear that those kind of red flag sort of things. And a month from now, when Apple says, now we have a 33rd color watch band, and you can make the hands of the watch pointy if you want. It's all about giving, whatever Apple's certainly going to be talking a lot about Apple Watch in a month, and they need to make sure they've got boots on the ground.
The latest rumor today was that there won't be a new design for Apple Watch, that they'll just put new guts inside, and I wouldn't be surprised.
But new software, right?
Yeah.
No, I think just like the first iPhone, I think they really, really worked hard to make sure that they have all the tools. They don't have to change their tooling, at least for the first couple of years, and save the new hardware design for when they know exactly what hardware they're going to need and what components are going to be actually available.
No price for the Google Home. They only said it'll be available later this year. They talked a little bit about Google Photos, but not in any significant way. The new software was Allo, the new messaging app, smart messaging app, and Duo, the phone calling app. Both, they said, available this summer, which means it could be any time from next month to I guess, September.
Well, I think it'll be included in N when we get an actual.
You think it'll
N
require
phone.
N? Yeah.
I don't think it'll require, but I think it'll be a part of it when Google does a Nexus phone running N, then Allo and Duo will be a part of that.
N is available today in its first beta version. There were several developer previews out, which anybody could download and install. If you have a Nexus device, you could put it on your Nexus device. But now, in fact, they pushed it right out, the beta of Android N. Anything, Russell Holly, that you want to point out as being particularly interesting?
I think the most interesting thing is how hard Google worked for the first hour of this presentation to make everything feel completely connected. each part of the presentation led to the next thing as this kind of grand message that machine learning is going to pull all of these technologies together and make them all simultaneously useful and work with all of the things that are already happening in people's homes who are already using things like Chromecasts and Android Wear watches and so that was, I think, the most important part for me about the first hour of the presentation was just how all of Google's products, the new stuff that was being announced seemed to not ignore the other things that Google was already doing. It pulled it all together.
The real challenge for Google is that if you're going to double down on machine learning and AI, you don't have big announcements. You have gradual evolution and improvement of the platform, increased integration, and it's very hard to say. And now, brand new AI 2.0. It's something that happens over time. And I think that's what you see at this is a continued evolution of something they pointed out several times they've been doing for 10 years now. And it's getting better and better, but in an evolutionary fashion.
They're building a lot of equity here. It's not just here's our next update, here is our next vision, here's our next direction, here is Google Glass, which we're thinking about. It really, the Google Home device, the only way it could possibly integrate more Google technology is if it had wheels and a motor on it. Otherwise, name something they've been doing for the past year, and this reflects it. Against building, the most powerful thing you can possibly do, a company at Apple's or Google's or Facebook's scale, is to make sure that you are just building equity and accumulating interest every single month on that equity, as opposed to, great, we spent a whole bunch of time creating the Apollo launch hardware, and now we're going to throw it all away, put all those people out of work, and start developing the space shuttle, and now we're going to throw that away and put all those people out of work and develop the new Constellation crafts. It's better. Whereas the Russians have been building on the same Soyuz platform for 30 or 40 years, and they've never had to stop and start over again. So it's a well-documented vehicle, and it tends to be very, very reliable. So that's the sort of thing that's getting me really interested. I've been talking to people over the past week who really got me excited about what I was going to hear today. And boy, did it pay off. This is one of those days where I'm glad that I don't work for BuzzFeed and I don't have to get something up in the next hour. I'm glad that I'm going to record an episode of the Material podcast very soon with Yasmin Evgen and Russell Ivanovic, who are both at Google I/O. As a matter of fact, I've been using Places to chat with them as we go along. And after that, I am going to a part of town where there are 3 different Wi-Fi public hotspots, and the last one doesn't close till midnight. And I'm severely looking forward to spending hours and hours thinking about my reaction to this and running it down.
Yeah.
This was a great, great keynote.
Thank you, Russell Holly from Android Central. I really appreciate your time with us today. It's always great to see you. I guess you probably want to run off and file too.
Yeah, I've got some things that I want to write. Especially, I don't know if you see the stuff behind me. Virtual reality is kind of my thing recently, so I'm gonna jump on that a little bit and have some fun with it. I'm very excited from everything that I saw today.
Yeah, it's not one of those things where you could say, "Wow, Google just announced Widget 6.0. This is going to change everything," but a lot of interesting incremental development. I'm actually, in some ways, most interested by the last thing they talked about, which was the instant apps on Android. I think potentially that's the one that's going to change your day-to-day experience with your smartphone, where your smartphone has virtually infinite capabilities. All you have to do is ask it to do something, and it'll figure out how to do that. That's a new way of understanding what our smartphone is, and I think potentially very, very interesting.
It's all about adoption there, and that's the same with Vulkan for Android N.
Yep.
Two big things that could be just tremendous things for Google, but it's all going to be about adoption.
Developers. They just don't have a Steve Ballmer to jump around like a monkey boy. Thank you, Andy Ihnatko, Chicago Sun-Times. You're off, I know, to do your Material podcast. I thank you so much for spending time with us. We'll see you next Tuesday on Mac Break Weekly. Look forward to seeing what you write in the Chicago Sun-Times.
I'm looking forward to the people who usually say I'm an Apple fanboy saying, "Oh, you're such an Apple hater. What's wrong with you, man?"
You can't win. But that's how we like it. Hey, thanks to everybody for joining us. And this concludes our coverage of the Google I/O keynote from 2016. I guess we're going to have to figure out the schedule. We may well be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. to see what they've got for the Chrome OS. They didn't mention it at all. I also feel kind of sad. Here they have this great venue, Shoreline Amphitheater, where some of the best bands in the world have played. No band at all, just some weird harp music.
Well, there's a concert this evening.
Ah, there you go. All right. There's a big beer bash tonight. Thank you very much, Russell and Andy. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time as breaking news happens on TWiT. Bye-bye.